upgraded TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit video only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, video only.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Eward. And Brooke Eward.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, yep, we're underway here this morning with the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports on 710 and on seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports app. More on that in a minute. And, of course, on all the podcast platforms. That's like Apple and Spotify, wherever else you find your podcast. You know what I mean. I saw some recent Apple podcast reviews. It's been a little while. I mentioned them, I don't know, a week or so ago. And usually after I do, we get a couple of others. So I think I got like 2 new ones in. Simple one, 5 stars. Hey, man, which is nice. A little shout out to the past. And says, cheers to 5 stars. RIP ranked. I know, it's sad. And I know we talked about maybe having Justin come in once a week to do it. It feels like that's been kind of challenging to work out. So I miss it. Believe me, I've been ranking things at home just for fun. But it's not the same. And I agree. I'm sorry. RIP for sure.
I'm fine.
Of course you are. The other one though, and this one's interesting. So this comes from Seattle Sports Sucker. And it says the title of it is No Salk Slander, Some Brock Hate, which is like a pretty rare combo. But then you kind of dig into it and I don't know. Here's what it says. Salk is hated on by everybody. All right. What do you mean by everybody? That seems like a lot. Salk is hated on by everybody for good reasons sometimes. In parentheses. Doesn't like the NBA. Hates DK Metcalf with a fiery passion. All right. Do I need to defend myself against this? Am I hated on by everybody for these things? I don't think I'm alone in some of my feelings about the NBA. I feel like that's a pretty soft take at this point, that like I'm not in love with the way the NBA works and what that product looks like. Lyle, you're like in the NBA age range. Is it weird to not like the NBA?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I don't love it. I'll watch it, but usually just the playoffs, to be honest with you.
I'm impressed that you can watch that.
I think it's a total soap opera league, to be honest.
Well, so do I. So whatever.
It's okay to not like the NBA. It's not okay to not like the NBA and then have very strong opinions on it the way you do.
Why not?
Because it's like you not watching college football and then arguing with Brock about what Joe Burrow did in college.
Yeah. When did I ever do that? I never argued about Joe Burrow.
Last season.
It was?
Yes.
No, I don't remember that. That doesn't sound right. And I don't hate DK Metcalf with any kind of passion. I don't hate DK at all. All I've ever said is that I think that you can better utilize the finite resources that you have on a salary cap driven team by not investing so heavily into a wide receiver who's not one of the top 10 in the position. That's all. That's not hatred. I was just trying to look at it objectively. But all right, anyway. It says, but he's also not scared to push back, which is good. I used to see Brock's face on the Seahawks preseason games and decided to hate him for some reason. But I've come around, as long as I'm not watching the video stream, because I will call the cops if I see his face.
I can see someone thinking Brock has a punchable face because a lot of people think he looks like an 80s movie villain.
Yeah, the whole Napoleon Dynamite guy thing.
Yeah.
But overall, a great show. And here's the thing, is the best edition in a long time. Thanks, Maura. Lyle, do better for all of us, please. Okay. Well, thank you for just throwing in the random Lyle hate at the end. Yeah, here's the thing is great. It's Thursday, of course, at 8 o'clock. We've been playing your voice messages that you leave us. But, you know, I have to remind people starting like today, or else Mondays we don't have time. I never have time to remind people on Mondays. You're dealing with the game, reaction, everything that happened over the weekend. I'm over at V BMAC, so I can never, tell what's what. Everything's a mess. So Mondays, that always gets lost in the shuffle. So Tuesdays, I got to really focus on reminding all of you guys that we do need, we need messages for Here's the Thing. So
we've had some complaints that some of the same people leave us messages every week, but then leave us more messages.
Yeah, you can
call and complain about the people that leave messages every week.
That's a really good idea. And you probably should, as a matter of fact. Brett and Brock and some of the folks that have been leaving messages every week. So download the app, and once you have, you can leave us messages for Here's the Thing, which will be Thursdays at 8 o'clock. It was kind of nice not having a Mariner game last night, so it was a little bit more of a relaxing sports evening, or at least it started off that way. Kind of watching the football game with do you have any real rooting interest in watching that game? You probably have some fantasy thing.
Yeah, just Drake London. He's on a couple.
Did you get penalized for him trying to imitate shooting everyone in the stands?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, I did not.
Okay. They don't take points away for stupid penalties like that. He had a nice touchdown catch, which obviously kind of, wins the game. It will not just kind of. That was the other thing that was kind of getting me last night. Maybe I'm crazy. So I'm watching that game, and, Philly's a better team than Atlanta, and they found a way to lose that game, I think is sort of the best way to describe it. But, okay. So Atlanta drives them down the field. Great job by Kirk Cousins. Seriously, he was phenomenal on that final drive. Just picked Philly apart right down the field, and they score to take a 1-point lead with 34 seconds left, right? So 34 seconds. So they tie it up with the 6. Then they get moved back to make it a 48-yard extra point, which is, again, you should hit 48 yards, but it's not a gimme.
Chip shot anymore. Yeah.
Right, it's not a chip shot, but it's 48 yards. Okay, so he hits it thanks to Drake London's dumb penalty. Okay, fine. And this is why I should always just stay away from social media during any form of game, but since I didn't care one way or another about the result, I just sort of see all these people, including our very own G. Scott, being like, game-winning touchdown drive. That's why, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, game-winning touchdown drive? There's 34 seconds left, and the Eagles have 2 timeouts. What do you mean game-winning touchdown drive? They've got to go a grand total of 30 yards in 34 seconds with 2 timeouts in order to put themselves in position to win the game? Now, they didn't. Obviously, Jalen Hurts throws a pick, but first play, 12 yards. Okay, now you have 29 seconds, and you still only need 20-something yards, maybe, to put yourself in field goal position with a timeout. What am I missing here? How is that game over? Now, obviously, it didn't end up with Philly coming back to win, but the idea that it was over after that touchdown was bizarre to me. That game's not over. That game's just starting in some ways.
Maybe they watched the Eagles last year.
They
found a lot of ways to lose.
All true. Look, if it's specific to what you think about the Eagles or what you think about Jalen Hurts, okay, fine. If you think that the Atlanta defense is so lights out that they couldn't possibly give up 30 yards in 35 seconds with 2 timeouts, fine. But the idea that a game is over in this NFL, and I'll come back to what I said yesterday because I do think it's a big deal. The ball coming out to the 30-yard line is it affects these moments. When I was a kid, the ball came out to the 20, right? When I was a kid, the ball would come out to the 20 on a touchback. And then your kickers were good from maybe 50 in. Anything over 50 was all yeah, whatever. Maybe hits it, maybe not. The combination of adding 10 yards to the touchback and pretty much adding close to 10 yards of range to the kickers has created a 20-yard difference. That's enormous. If you only need to go 30, 35 yards for a field goal in the big moments. And McDonald, by the way, said, okay, maybe it's not quite the 30, that the average start time is the 28. Fine. Okay. But in those, so add 2 yards. But in those moments, it sure seems like teams try to kick it into the end zone to avoid any sort of issue with a run back. Because the last thing you want to do is give them the ball at the 40-yard line. Then they only need to go 20 yards to win. So I don't see those games as being over. I see them as, okay, quarterbacks for the most part are capable of doing that. Jalen Hurts didn't do it yesterday, but I'll ask you, do you feel good about kicking off with a 1-point lead to a team with 2 timeouts and 35 seconds left? I don't. I feel like I'm going to lose that game. Certainly, if the other quarterback is worth a salt, I definitely feel like I'm going to lose that game. You feel good kicking off to, any of the better quarterbacks in the game in that scenario? I definitely do not. So just something to think about. Not that I'm going to sit here and be like, Atlanta scored too fast. In that moment, you got to go down and score. I mean, you are out of timeouts. You can't mess around. You need a touchdown. You can't finagle the clock. You got to do everything you can do to just get in the end zone.
Well,
so,
and the Eagles secondary was just offering it up to them.
My
on the
Lord,
platter.
were they ever? But that game's not over. Some ways that thing's just getting going. All right. The Seahawks are coming back home Sunday. We want to send one of you and 3 of your friends to go watch them take on the Dolphins in person. How about that? All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab. I was just talking about the Seattle Sports app. Well, guess what? If you don't already have the app and you're confused as to how to download it, we're going to make it easy for you. Just send a text. Text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we will send you back a link to download it. It's very easy. You can enter daily to increase your chances to win, and this contest will run through Tuesday. Wait, that's today, September 17th. So today's your last day. So you got to hurry up. Like, you got to go send app to 866-979-3776. You got to go ahead and download it, and then you'll be good to go. Cool? Everybody get it? Make sense? 46-yard line left, Salk. All right, 46 is a stretch. I'm saying 40, though. 40-yard line? That's a 57-yard field goal. It's makeable. Anything above that is gravy. 46 was a bit much. You were looking for essentially a record setter. But 57? I'd be curious to know. Lyle, you're on this. What do you think can you find out what is the NFL average for kicks of 57 yards? How often do NFL kickers in the last few years, don't go back like 20, 30 years, how often do they make kicks of 57 yards? That's the number I'm looking for. All right. Coming up, we'll give you guys everything you need to know, because as great as the night started, sort of relaxing, it got super tense and ended even better. That's next on Brock and Salk.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
I've never been around a quarterback who had as big of a chip on his shoulder than Geno.
Set has time. Now he's going to get hit. He's going to go down. But Leonard Williams just drove his man back, just what the doctor ordered.
This is a great example of this game. Like, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop, we got the stop.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Traffic backups are inconvenient, but if your pipes are backing up at home, that's bad. There's only one cure for this pesky problem: the experts at Beacon Plumbing, Heating, Septic, and Mechanical. Trust them to clear your clogs. Stop freaking and call Beacon. 1-800-FREAKIN.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Players Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
At Mazda of Everett, you can always expect to receive exceptional customer service and exceptional deals. Mazda of Everett is a great friend of Seattle sports, and you'll be satisfied with both. Shop from over 600 new Mazdas in stock. And right now, they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? It feels like working with family when you work with Mazda of Everett. You will drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
Looking for fine jewelry this fall? Good news! Seattle's favorite jeweler for more than 40 years now has 2 locations in the area. Come visit us in our beautiful new store with the biggest selection at South Center Square in Tukwila. Create your own engagement ring with the widest range of diamonds and gemstones and discover unique, fine jewelry designed by our in-house team. No matter your budget, our friendly team is here to help guide you in finding that perfect piece that speaks to you. Visit ShaneCo.com to find your closest store and hours. We can't wait to see you. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward! If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Seattle, T-Mobile Park, September 23rd. Performing both Dookie and American Idiot in their entirety, plus fan favorites and tracks from their new album, Saviors, with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, 2+ weeks into the season now. Mike McDonald joined us yesterday. He's still learning about his team.
A lot. All the things that we said we want to be about, there's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have, I think we're a connected team. I think we have confidence in one another. I just felt like we haven't batted an eye with all the crap that's happened in the first 2 games. These games it's the NFL. Like, these things are going to happen. I'm just just the way we pulled the game out at the end, staying poised, making the plays we needed to make after, defensively didn't really put our best foot forward. Offensively, moving and adjusting, the run game, we're still going to have to attack that. But, in the pass game, just kept saying, hey, look, this is our best chance to go win it. This is how we're going to have to go do it. Let's go do it.
Yeah, I like the word he keeps coming back to there of poise and thinking about how his team has withstood, some difficult spots. What have I learned about them here in the first couple of weeks? They're deep. They're resilient. I think that's maybe part of the word I would use for poise. They're calm, kind of in the same vein. They're fast. They definitely move very quickly out there, and they're very capable, and he probably didn't need to talk about this because it was more praise for the coaching staff and himself, but they're very capable of adjusting in games, and I think there's more to come here over the course of the season. The number one thing I believe about this team today is that they will be better in a month and even better in 2 months than they are today. That's what I think. I think we're seeing the baseline of the Seahawks. That's not to say their record is going to be perfect all the way through. They'll play harder teams, and they'll have fits and starts, and they'll go up and down like all NFL teams do. But I do think they'll be a better team in a month and an even better team in 2 months than they are today, and that's a testament to Mike McDonald, to his staff, and to the players as well.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, pretty productive night for the Mariners despite not playing, which was great. Houston loses 3-1 in San Diego. Merrill goes deep. Profar goes deep. I watched a lot of that game, because it was on MLB Network, which was great. And I'm watching it and rooting for San Diego as if they're my hometown team, which was pretty cool. Makes the deficit an even 4 games now in the division as the two teams each have 12 games remaining, 3 against each other. John Morosi on with Wyman and Bob yesterday asked how many of those 12 the Mariners have to win.
The number that popped into my head was 10. Now,
Yikes.
and maybe that's getting greedy, but you've got to be almost flawless. And that's why it's a very narrow chance of it happening. You basically have to play like the Rockies of 2007 and then hope that the Twins and to some extent the Tigers play like the Red Sox of 2011. So you're basically hoping like two one-off things all happen at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to quite do that, but it's pretty close. I mean, he's right. Those Rockies, they win 15 straight to get into the playoffs and then kept going.
16. I was living there then.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
Then they got swept in the World Series. Anyway, Minnesota loses last night. It looked like they were going to win late, but then Cleveland had a home run in the 8th. They take down the Twins, so the Mariners move to just 2 games back in the wild card. But remember, they need to get 1 game clear in order to beat the Twins. Detroit keeps pace. They take out Kansas City by a run. Really hard to overemphasize how big the series is for the Mariners now, with the Yankees coming in town for 3. Every game is enormous from here on out. It's a big showdown in Houston after the Yankees series, right? You got Yankees, then Texas, then Houston. Wu and Miller, games 1 and 2. Emerson Hancock had been scheduled for the finale with the day off yesterday. They could kind of rejuggle, and so it looks like Logan Gilbert will go in that finale. Why? I think it's more so that Gilbert pitches against Houston next week instead of Hancock. That's how I think this works out. I don't think you want Emerson Hancock pitching against the Astros in Houston, so you got to juggle it now coming off of the off day in order to make that happen.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
You mentioned Drake London, Maura. Did Kirk Cousins really just lead Atlanta all the way down the field? Yes, he did.
Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. And we are tied with the extra point to come.
It's too bad Jason Kelce wasn't still in the booth for that. He'd been there forever. He didn't want to be in the booth for the final moment as his Eagles came tumbling down. I guess not. Anyway, very nice play. Impressive drive capped off by that Drake London touchdown. Philly could have won the game after that. Ball at the 30, 34 seconds left, 2 timeouts, doable, but not when Jalen Hurts throws a bad pick. So both teams are 1-1, and the NFC is wide open, except at the bottom where it's very obvious who the worst team is. That would be the Panthers, and their coach Dave Canales is benching last year's top pick Bryce Young in favor of veteran Andy Dalton. He's back again. Young has been awful. I guess the word out of Carolina is that Canales needed to do this or else he would risk losing the locker room. So, yikes. There you go. That's everything you need to know. And we do that quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right, Lyle found some stuff here on Reddit, just for those who were interested in what the percentages were of making field goals. So here's what I got. 57 yards. This is from 2009 to 2019. So I would guess it's actually a little bit better if you add in the next 5 years, because I think kickers are getting better by the year. But that's all right. This is a pretty good baseline. I think this is good enough. From 57 yards, kickers make 54% of their kicks. Now, interestingly, 58 yards. And there's an argument to be made that it's really a 58-yard field goal from the 40 because now teams go with 8 yards back instead of 7. Okay, fine. I'm showing my age. That's, for some reason, 58 is a bad number. It drops down to 36%, 37%. But then it comes back up again at 59, up to 55. Well, all I'm saying is in that range, let's say from 50 on, kickers from 50, 71%, 51, 67%, 52, 59%, 53, 69. I mean, like, they're pretty darn accurate once they get even into the 50s. Now, if you're going to go over 60, that number drops below 50% significantly down to 30, 31, 28, 25. Like, once you get over 60, it's a crapshoot. Less. But 60, 65, 70% for being in the 50s, hey, that's giving you a realistic chance to win the game. So just something to think about as you allow kickoffs late in games in this modern NFL. Okay, I'll tell you, the reasoning that Mike McDonald used to kick the field goal late with about a minute left in his game on Sunday was fascinating. I don't know whether I agree with the decision or not, but man, was I impressed with the process. You'll hear it, along with everything else he said to us, next.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are when battling adversity. So, I mean, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. It's, hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. What? Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Maura Dooley here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Rick Riz here with Luke Wilson, a local owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. With your help and the Improve Your Play program, Pella has chosen a local youth athletic program to receive a $5,000 grant. Luke, who's the lucky winner this week?
Rick, we could not be more excited to announce Pac West Little League as one of 2 winners of this $5,000 grant.
Thanks to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
We were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
All right, let's go now. Let's go.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Yes, sir! You like that name, huh? The Mike McDonald Show? You think that's what we should go
Yeah, that's surreal. And then the one clip that they pick, it's a process as soon as you walk in the door. So.
Yeah. What do you want?
You never know what they're going to quote, I guess.
You want something from Chasing Edges or something like that? Should we go more in that direction? Mike McDonald Show?
No, yeah, hopefully I never get used to it.
Good. All right. Well, you had your first road trip now as a head coach, and sort of this theme of a business trip. What did that mean for you guys?
The business trip, that really wasn't. That wasn't.
Maybe this is just on social media.
That wasn't the language that we used. I mean. Yeah, it's tricky. You're going east, and then we've done a lot of the studies in the off season with all what Pete had done. We had tremendous success. So trying to understand the why and the how behind all that, and see if we could replicate it. And then just had to did the studies that Sam Ramsden set up and had the sleep specialist. And so we tried to do all the things, and we won the game, which is great. But you're always looking at I said process and results. It's like, hey. There's some things that we're going to be able to do better, so we haven't been able to get all the opinion and stuff, but we're really going to attack it because it's going to happen another couple times. And I felt like there's some things we can improve on. Just having a hard time putting your finger on it right now, but we'll be able to make some tweaks kind of moving forward.
You like this sports science stuff, don't you?
Well, I like stuff that's going to help with that. First of all, that was weird, Brock, just hearing you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like you're this
The voice
ghost
of God
in here.
coming into the dungeon down there. Yes.
Okay, I can see over here.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. There you go. Hi. Congratulations. But you've mentioned this a bunch of different times. I say this to Salk all the time in my production meetings. When coaches repeat themselves, it's a little tell for me, like especially messaging wise going into a game and whatever. But it's kind of cool to hear you talk about, and you've done this through the OTAs, through training camp, now into the regular season. You do enjoy the sports science element that is really important in this organization.
Yeah, I think we had great infrastructure here from the get-go. I mean, Sam Ramsden does a great job kind of leading his team, and then we have a great analytics crew that we're trying to deploy. And then, great info can come anywhere. And to me, like, if it's going to help us win, then and we can make it part of our process without trying to go crazy and taking a huge left turn, then it's probably worth doing. So I think that's pretty simple, But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, just looking for edges.
You mentioned Brock being kind of a voice in your headset. I would imagine that Ryan Grubb during a game is sort of in the same spot, right? You're not standing next to him. He's up in a booth. I know you gave him the game ball. We got to see the video of that in the locker room. What did he do best in that game?
Man, I thought we had a great plan going in, and then we were able to adjust as the game went on. I still felt like he stayed really aggressive, and I mean, this isn't a shot. Like it was more as a, hey, accept this on behalf of the offense. I mean, you go back. I mean, you can just rattle. I mean, Gino played a tremendous. Watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. So it's kind of hard to give one game ball out. So I felt like it was offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we gotta look at, but there's a lot of good going around, So and I felt like we called it. We kind of felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. So and then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively, I thought it was well earned on his part.
I'm going to get to some Grubb questions and system questions here in a little bit, but take me back to your first plane ride home. It's a long one now from all the way from the East Coast. It's probably a 6-hour flight home. You told us last week after the win, you had family in. Yep. You didn't necessarily watch the tape until the next morning. I'm going to guess on a long flight like that, you probably got to the tape right away.
I got you, Brock. I got you, buddy. I did not watch it.
You did not watch it yesterday on the plane ride home?
No, it's too emotional. It's like I would have been, because I know there's some things popping up on defense. Like I knew I needed to watch with like a clear head, Okay. So I watched it, and then so what I do now is I just video guys make like a edit that goes from the first kick all the way to the last play. So I kind of watch all three phases in order. Okay. That gives you a help of like what happens, kind of puts things in context and stuff.
So I didn't watch it, but you didn't want to watch it.
No, I never do. No, I could pop around and all the coaches are watching it. I don't know how you guys do this. So I didn't talk to some of the players on some of the things. Give Spoon a bunch of crap about something. Reek when we blitzed Reek and he missed the sack. He had to hear about that one. So.
Does Boye spent the entire day in the backfield?
Yeah, the numbers didn't
show for it.
Yeah, the numbers didn't support how he's playing right now. He's doing a really good job, but he needs to finish some sacks, man.
I asked Brock this earlier. Maybe this is a dumb question, which wouldn't be a first for me, nor a last. Does he need to slow down? Is he playing too fast?
No, that's a
dumb question.
I'm not gonna. I mean, you said it.
I guess what I'm saying is there something in those moments where he can pause or needs to do things a little bit differently to finish those plays?
Yeah, I think it's just getting used to it, like being in those positions. Like you can't get close to the quarterback throughout the off season, and so you're trying to win rushes and then trying to be also in position to make the play on the quarterback. So converting to some power, maybe making more inside moves. He brought Jacoby down on the one, but he didn't have he didn't have his right arm down. Jacoby just kind of threw it away. So there's some good finishes on there too. It's just I think he did have to end up with one. This was the first third down, and that was it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was telling Salk earlier, Coach, watching these young rookie quarterbacks and watching Caleb last night in particular, you can see that he's just trying to do it the right way. trying to like build this foundation, play from the pocket first. He even told Collinsworth and those guys all of that. Is you're going about some of these firsts here, right? Your first home game last week, your first long East Coast 10 a.m. kick, and first time managing through an overtime game and all of that. Does it feel like it's a first for you? Or, you know, as Salk has said before, you kind of have this wisdom. You know, it feels like you've been there before at times with the way you're handling it. Yeah. Does it feel like a first, though?
You know, it's funny. I think that's a great point. It's like, yeah, we haven't gone through these things as a whole staff, me personally as well. So, yeah, you're trying to do kind of the wisdom of the crowd, what you feel like is kind of best practices as you're going through navigating things for the first time. But then these things are going to evolve, right? Like how we get feel for how we're going to manage the game, especially late in the game, these fourth down decisions, you know, like lots of stuff that you're just going through it. And like, you kind of start to find even just like, hey, first team meeting with the guys. Hey, like, you know, I'm giving them my best shot, but that's definitely wasn't my best fastball, you know, since then. So it's like, and you just try to keep getting better at the things, and it'll become kind of mold in our identity as we go. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment for sure.
So the fourth and one decision you made to kick the field goal, 58 seconds left or so in the game. Take me through the decision a little bit, because that's got to be a hard one.
Yeah, sure. You know, it'd been great to get it on third down. You know, it was a little bit longer than you know, it comes down to like, hey, is it 6 inches? Is it a yard? Is it a yard and a half? Like, you know, that plays into what you're going to call and confidence wise of whether to get it. So, and then, you know, only having the 2 timeouts is definitely has a, you know, plays a factor. The numbers were about even, analytically speaking. Matter of fact, it actually, favored slightly to go for it in that situation.
Do those analytics numbers take into account the new kickoff rule?
Yes,
they do. So knowing that they're going to get the ball at the 30.
Well, you might not get it at the 30, but it's like expected start line.
Right.
Yeah. And all the data's in on that either. So like that's going to be an evolving.
The expected
target.
Start line's got to be a lot farther than it used to be this year. No.
I can't speak for earlier years, but yeah, right now it's around like the 28.
And as good as those numbers, Mike,
wow.
and as good as those numbers, and I've heard this from coaches, how, it adapts and it's got every scenario and every situation. It cannot have the 3rd and 1 stuffed. Like, it can't have that previous play, right, reacted immediately in real time like you've got to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's my job, right, is kind of figure out, hey, what's our plan for these scenarios? What do we have called? How have they been playing us? You know, like, there's a lot of factors going on there, too, so it's kind of hard to be like, hey, you know, you can't make these, like, cut and dry decisions all the time, you know. Now, if they're, like, super favorable and you feel like you got a good play, then, like, I definitely want to stay aggressive in those situations, but for that one, you know, we had a 4th down earlier in the game, could have gone up 7. We had a really good drive going. I was 3rd and longer. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get to a 4th and 1 there. 4th run was a go going into the series. And, you know, in hindsight, you probably should have kicked it. But, like, it's just, you know, you can't play this what-if game. You just feel like, hey, process going into the decision was all right. We didn't necessarily move the guys off the ball, which is disappointing. But, yeah, just, you know, kind of move it, like kind of learn from there and go from there.
Who gives you that information in the moment?
So we know it in the series what we're going to go for. Like they basically Brian gives me the strength of like when it's a go on the chart, and then
Brian who?
Brian Ayers, excuse me.
Got it.
Yeah. So he's giving me that going into the series, and then I'm kind of saying, and then I kind of give Grubb as soon as I can. Hey, this is when it's going to be a go. Or think it's going to be a go, or it might be, you know, or hey, I think we're going to punt. And then so Jay's on the same line, Jay Harbaugh, so we're all kind of working together, so we're on the same page going to 4th down. But that, you know, that doesn't just affect your 2nd down or 3rd down call, it affects your 2nd down call, so on and so forth.
So he's got to know, especially Ryan in that case, has to know what you're thinking about 4th down in order to call 2nd and 3rd down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not fair to be like on 3rd down and be like, oh yeah, after you called it, oh yeah, next play we're going to go for it too. Like, that's not cool.
So you guys didn't really know each other before you end up here, right? You guys you don't go back 10 years of, you know, working together and all that. So what have you guys done to build that relationship, develop that trust here just in a fairly short amount of time?
Well, it's not easy because defense requires a lot of my time, and because of just, we're working from scratch on defense as well. So we're coming along, but it's still, it's a hefty part of your responsibilities. There's only so many hours in the day. I just think, I really, man, this isn't a shot at like offensive guys, but Ryan has like a really open mind and is willing. He listens and he's willing to like scrimmage things out situationally with you, where you're coming from, what he's thinking. It's like he's not afraid to be like, well, I was thinking this, and just have it not to be like the right thing. And then me too. So like it's my job to create this environment of like, hey, we're just looking for the best thing here. This is the mentality, and we're going to try each other's assumptions, and we're not perfect by any stretch, but as long as you have that type of mentality going into those conversations, I feel like you can get on the same page easier. And it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just like what's right, what's best for us in those situations and how we want to call it. We're working through all those things now. This is going to be an ongoing thing throughout the season and into years, moving forward. We're always going to be kind of having all these things are going to always pop up, and you try to just handle it the best you can and apply it as the game kind of goes in. So I really appreciate his approach, just when we have these conversations and having an open mind.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's going to lead to a lot of fun discussion for Salk and I the rest of the week. So thank you for planting that seed in my brain. The other thing, Coach, is you mentioned perfect. Nothing's ever perfect in the NFL, but the sabermetric guys and stat guys tell me that yesterday, out of Geno Smith's 44 passes, not one of them was off target. Not one of them was inaccurate. That's at least, the guys that evaluate and watch their own tape and do all that stuff. But 44 attempts, he did not have an off-target pass.
That's pretty
possible.
Good.
Huh?
Is that good?
That's unbelievable.
I'm replaying the game in my mind right now, and that sounds right. I can't think of one I can't find one where it was like, hey, yeah, that was a bad throw. He played a tremendous game.
How does he do that right now at this stage, just 2 weeks into this whole new system for him with Grubb as well?
Well, yeah, I think it's credit to his approach in the offseason. This guy has absolutely grinded it out. Just took this thing head on from the get-go, totally bought in taking in the process, the new language, the reads, all the audibles, all the moving parts, the moving and shifting, So I think Geno deserves a tremendous amount of the credit here on how he's playing. We've said his work ethic is just tremendous, and when you work and you stack all those reps, you can play confidently and deliver the ball on time, and the receivers have to be in the right. There's a lot of things going on too. Like protection's got to be right. This Brock.
Oh yeah.
Protection's got to be right. The guys got to be in the right spots. We got to get to the right plays in certain situations. So. Everybody is in on that, but like I said, Geno's right there at the forefront of the whole thing, and he deserves a lot of credit.
Where are you at with your offensive line right now?
Yeah, I think we need to run the ball better. That's like hello, that's obvious. So we're going to be working for that, That's going to be a work in progress. But if you would have had the same conversation at the end of the Denver game, you would have said, "Hey, we were fine on our."
Right.
So right now we're in this. I wouldn't say in flux, but we're just trying to find, hey, what are the schemes that we can kind of hang our hat on, how we're operating. This is an ongoing process. I'm optimistic with it. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get it done. Personnel wise, I thought Stone came in and played pretty well at right tackle. And at right guard, I see it ongoing right now with AB, and Christian probably deserved a few more reps the way he played. And he got edged on the one where Geno got hit on the one that I think Pepper's got his hand on. But other than that, I thought Christian played pretty solid. I thought AB had a lot of really good reps too. So I think we'll look in keeping that competition rolling here.
And how about the flip side of that? You stop the run at the end of the game, and I love, again, the post-game and the locker room and the credit for the reps and the preparation, and obviously an awesome job by Dotson to pull the trigger and get that done. But overall, in the run game, as you mentioned, post-game, 185 yards is allowed is just not going to be sustainable. Anything jump out on the tape with that, Coach?
I'll start with me. Just with the plan and the preparation and some of the things that we put the guys in those spots. I can be way better. I can be better. I need to be better on what we're asking those guys to do and give them some looks that we haven't practiced. Mm-hmm. So I deserve as much finger pointing as anybody in that. So I need to improve, and then when you watch the tape, it's just simple, like applying the fundamental to the situation, alignments, how you're leveraging the block, how we strike blocks. I mean, all the things that showed up in the first game that was positive. I thought we took a step back this game. I think we ended up with like 10 missed tackles, the ball getting out on our edge. So, it's like, hey, you never make it in this league. It's always it's a week to week, prove it to me. It's like that has to be the mentality. So, but you're right. I mean, it's just 180 yards. It's just makes you sick to your stomach.
Are you harder on your defense than you are on your offense? Do
you probably know the answer to that. I don't want to say it.
Well, do you in some ways have to be because of again, you're forming a new relationship with an offensive coordinator and giving him space to really design his offense as you're spending some time, as you said, a lot of time right now with the defense. Do you almost have to be especially hard on them?
I just think I know defense better. So I'm still learning. Like there's principles of our offense that as a staff and as a team, we're not there where we need to be. So like that's what I'm chasing, the schematics and how we're running all the stuff and how we call the game. Like, that's why we have an offensive staff. That's why Grubb does what he does, and you got to trust those people to do their job. But how we play the game, I would say is equally as important. I mean, the whole special teams is the same way. If we're not finishing in dominant position, if we're not playing with our hair on fire, if we're not sound fundamentally, then I'm a stickler for. I mean, those are the things that we have to make sure that we're great all the time at. And that's what's frustrating. Like it's two parts of the frustration on defense. One, felt like I could have called a better game, could have had a better plan. I did think we adjusted well throughout the game, so give myself some grace on that one. But like to start out, felt like we could have been better. And then and then there's the fundamental piece too that like doesn't really matter what you're in. It's about how you're playing the game, how you finish plays. We need to take a step in that direction positively as well.
How did the young Rook play, thrown in the fire there once Baker goes out with the injury? How did Knight play?
I think he made some plays. He didn't really get exposed in that matter. There's some rookie mistakes that he lost his eyes and played with some leverage that he's going to want back, and he just looks back and says, "Hey, I've made that play 1,000 times. Just got to go do it." Mm-hmm. So now that he's done it, now he's seen it for real, live and in color. Regular season, I think we'll see him take a jump here. So there's much needed experience for him because he's been doing it all off season. You've seen him in preseason, but as you know, it's different when it's regular season out there. Game moves faster, and you just got to be able to go apply your training.
I'm just kind of fascinated, by the way, your first answer. I'm just trying to picture you on a 5.5, 6 hour plane ride. So did you just kind of, pop around I think Julian said everyone's like a first class seat, which is really nice. Did you just kind of pop around and sit with all the different guys and mingle with them and mess with Spoon for the majority of the flight?
No. We're just sitting around before the plane takes off. And once it took off, like I was trying to watch the game, the Sunday night game. And then I decided not to watch it, and I put on The Last Kingdom. I'm trying to watch that on Netflix.
Wow!
And I fell asleep, so it was good. I'm probably like I do all these things and it's like I don't have anything interesting to say,
So
but
good.
actually, AD's wife put me onto that one because I'm like obsessed with English history, but I'm kind of a weird guy.
All right, wow. We're learning a lot about the coach today. This is good. This is one of the fun things about getting to do this every week is just sort of learning a little more about who you are. What have you learned? And maybe we'll leave it here. What have you learned so far about your team?
Man, a lot. All the things that we said we want to be about. There's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have. I think we're a connected team. I think we have confidence in one another. I just felt like we haven't batted an eye with all the crap that's happened in the first two games. These games it's the NFL. Like these things are going to happen. I'm just just the way we pulled the game out at the end, staying poised, making the plays we needed to make after, defensively didn't really put our best foot forward. Offensively, hey, moving and adjusting, the run game, we're still going to have to attack that. But, in the pass game, just kept saying, hey, look, this is our best chance to go win it. This is how we're going to have to go do it. Let's go do it. And guys making plays in those critical situations was just, which is awesome. And that's going to have to happen for us to have success. We're just going to have to do that on a weekly basis. So we're in the right direction. And it's just, that's where it is. I think it's awesome to come away with a win going across the country. I mean, it's like, it's not easy. You know, that's a good New England Patriot team. They're like, just like all the things we said throughout the week, I think that showed up on tape. And so, like, you're super happy about it. Like, you're excited. And now you're saying, okay, well, let's come back down to earlier because we got a game. We got to get ready for the next game, which is another really good team. And let's look to take the next step here because it's so early.
What kind of challenges does the Miami offense throw at you?
Well, I
had a backup QB, nothing, no problem, piece of cake. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, not even close. Brock, not taking that one.
They got some pretty good weaponry over there.
Little speed.
Yeah, I mean, we are in Baltimore. We played Miami 2 years ago. We all know how that ended. We played Miami last year. And they're evolving too. You know, they're in year 3 now of their scheme, and so you're seeing the evolution of how they're growing. But can put up a lot of points in a hurry. We've seen that. Like, it's just, so you got utmost respect for how they design it with Mike McDonald and his staff, and then all the weapons around they have it. It's just it's a really well built system. It's explosive. I haven't gotten in the weeds yet on all the things, but who started that process, and then I got to join you, find people.
Do you like to go up against a guy like Mike?
Do I?
I mean, like, I'm sure it's hard, but like, do you enjoy the challenge of some of the going up against some of the good offensive lines?
I don't see it as like, I don't enjoy like. It's just you like getting your guys prepared so they can go play. Uh-huh. That's what you're like. That's the when you have like a well prepared team on Sunday, you're like, okay, all the crap throughout the week was worth it. You know, otherwise you're just sitting around staring at the wall throughout the week. Like, that's not getting anything done.
Coach, thank you. Congratulations. 2-0 in 2 weeks. Pretty cool accomplishment with an opportunity to play Miami this week back at home. Congrats, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're 2 weeks in now to the Mike McDonald Show. It's been pretty fun, and a whole bunch in there that we're going to dig into at 7:30 this morning. 4 and 3. 2 very important numbers in the life of a Seattle sports fan today. We'll explain what they mean and whether you believe in them next.
Hawks Live.
Thursday nights from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were.
How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey everyone, Tom Nelson for Cressy Door. Since 1952, we've been installing garage doors for your home, building, or dealership. If you need Cressy Door service or a whole new set of doors, visit our friends at Cressy Door. Make your next garage door a Cressy Door.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home, but the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful night after night.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Trident up.
Be here for the final stretch of the regular season at T-Mobile Park. The homestand continues with a 3-game showdown against the New York Yankees. Tonight and tomorrow at 6:40 and Thursday afternoon at 1:10. Don't miss your chance to see Aaron Judge and the Bronx Bombers take on Cal Raleigh and the Mariners. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com. Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
You know, there's still time to get your roof done this summer with Riverside Roofing's quick quote at riversideroofingllc.com. Enter the details of your project and you're only 60 seconds away from starting on a new roof. At Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, you know, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you can watch every game, every Sunday, all in one place. Which means you can watch the Dolphins, and the Broncos, and the Lions, and the Cowboys, and the Jets. Or whoever you're rooting for, all in your living room. But not literally, of course. That would be dangerous. Watch every game, every Sunday with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Sign up at youtube.com/NFLST. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmitt Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get his freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to cue you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Yeah, two pretty big numbers, 4 and 3, Brock. 4 games back now in the loss column in the West, 3 games back in the wild card. I know the number officially is 2, but in reality it's 3 because you got to get clear of Minnesota and Detroit. So I will say 4 and 3 as both the Twins and the Astros lose last night. The Padres-Astros game was on MLB Network, so I was watching that deep into the night and cheering as Jurickson Profar hit a little insurance home run late in the game, and the Padres go on to beat the Astros. This is going to be, it's close enough to be close. Is it easy? No. Is it likely? Still hard for me to see what that path looks like, but at least there's a light in the distance. At least there is a path as opposed to nothing.
Well, I don't know if it's all that hard. I think John Morosi's right. I think you got to go 10-2, and these teams have got to fall and stumble. And in Houston, I have a hard time thinking that's going to happen with all of their championship medal, with all of their experience, a bunch of guys that have been there and done that. Minnesota, as Lyle emailed us last night, is free falling. I mean, free falling. Now, Detroit obviously is not, and Detroit is red hot, and Detroit gets 3 to end the season with the White Sox. So you do need help around you.
But
I think
go 10-2,
yes,
you need Houston to go 6-6. Right? That's the math. 4 games. You're 4 games behind Houston. So if you go 10-2, you need Houston to go 6-6. Now, if you beat them in 3 of those games, obviously that would help your chances.
Yep.
If you go 10-2, you need Minnesota to go 7-5. That's the reality of going 10-2. You need either Houston to go 6-6 or Minnesota to go 7-5.
Yeah, and I don't know if Minnesota's capable of going 7-5. And got the Guardians; they've got a brutal kind of stretch. So, yeah, I mean, I think now you're 12 games. You're not 20 games. You're not 40 games. You're not 60 games. Like it's right here. It's right now. The City Connects are going to be rocking tonight against the Pinstripes.
And even more than that, they're playing it as if these games matter more. News coming out yesterday, and I hadn't even seen it until I wrote you guys all this stuff about what do you do? Do you juggle the rotation? Logan Gilbert and this and that. And Lyle's like, they already announced that. Yeah. Divish had that. I was like, all right, well, I didn't see it because I looked at ESPN.com and they still had the old pitching probables for the next couple of days. But they are going to juggle, and they're gonna move up Logan Gilbert in place of Emerson Hancock in this series against the Yankees. I don't think it has as much to do with the Yankee series as it does to do with the Houston series next week, but it ensures that not only does Hancock not pitch against the Yankees, he wouldn't pitch against the Astros either.
Yep.
So that works. That works for me. That's exactly what you should be doing this time of year.
That helps with the off day and kind of gives you that opportunity to do so. And you get these 3 at home, and you've continued to play well at home. That road trip to Texas is going to be everything, obviously. And 10-2 sounds, probably when it comes out of my mouth and you all hear that, like, well, that's insurmountable. When was last time they've been 10-2 and kind of gone on that kind of run? You're right.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. And the Yankees are fighting for a playoff. And
the Yankees are good, and Houston's good, and the A's have played you tough. I mean, like, it's not going to be a cakewalk to get in. But, yeah, just so you understand, so here's what they've done now. 3 games against the Yankees, they'll go Wu, Miller, and now Gilbert instead of Hancock. That sets up 3 in Texas, Kirby, then Hancock, then Wu. And then when you go to Houston, it'll be Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby.
And no chance to get Castillo back by the time you go to Houston?
I think he can't be there for Houston. It would only be for the Oakland series. Would be the earliest you could get Castillo. Now, I mean, I guess this maybe speaks to where you are with each of your pitchers. Would you want – I was looking – do you want to finagle it to try to get – Brian Wu against Houston? Like, who are the 3 pitchers you want to line up for the biggest series of the year? Are you okay with Miller, Gilbert, Kirby? Or do you feel like you need Wu to replace one of those guys against Houston?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
That's kind of what I think.
Each of those guys are going to give you an opportunity. I think the bigger deal is going to be, can you score 5 runs? The bigger deal is what you have done offensively. I think, the last month or so, and some of these guys that have just been absolutely blistering red hot, in a Robles and a Rayleigh, some of these guys in a Rosarena and a Julio that have gotten big hits and seen the slug and seen the power. So I think those guys have given you a track record, Salk, of 150 games where they give you an opportunity just about each and every night out. It's whether or not offensively you can do really what you've done the last month. At least put yourself in this position and give yourself this conversation and hopefully infuse yourself in that building tonight, where I would expect, you were there kind of last week. I would expect the energy to be pretty high. The Yankees are going to bring some of that naturally. But, you've got now 6 games left at home. That is it. The series with the Yankees, the series with the A's at the end of it. So sense of urgency is now.
Well, certainly, and they're acting that way. I saw a text here saying, we'll go to a 4-man rotation now. That's what you do in the playoffs. Yeah, but in the playoffs, you get the off days, right? So that's essentially what they're doing. With this off day today or yesterday, they went to a 4-man rotation and they skipped Hancock. The problem is after that, you don't get another off day until after the Houston series. You get one more before you play Oakland for the final 3 games of the year. So you don't want to start throwing guys on 3 days rest any more than you have to. And I don't think that throwing Hancock against Texas is such a disaster that you can't do it.
I mean, I
right?
guess the only thing is that if these guys absolutely are nails and are absolutely dealing this series, that being your starting pitchers, and giving you 6, 7, or 8 innings, could you throw a bullpen day at the Rangers?
But, I mean, do you feel better about a bullpen day than you would about starting Hancock with a short leash? Like, I'm okay with starting Hancock with a short leash. By the way, there's an interesting argument to be made, and I'll probably end up asking Passan about this at 8:30. How big are these starts for Hancock, not just for his future, but for how you view him for next year? What if Hancock, first of all, he had a really good start on Friday night, right? And then if he comes out in Texas next week, what if he shoves in Texas? What if he goes 7 innings and 2 runs, kind of like everybody else on this team does? Does it give you more of an ability or a possibility this offseason to think about dealing one of your other 5 starters? Maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
Right? I mean, if you feel the better you feel about Hancock, the better you can feel about giving up on one of your stars. Now, again, you still want to have more than 5 because, as you know, you're not going to make it through most years with 5. But it could absolutely change some of the calculus that goes into this offseason. So
not a bad time of the year, man.
No, it's pretty good.
Not a bad time of the year.
It's pretty good.
Seahawks football team.
Really hard to go 10-2 though. that's like the other part of this. Like, really hard to go 10-2.
How do you eat an elephant?
Huh?
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
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 Just one bite at a time. All right. Well, where do you start with that? You start with a hoof.
I was going to say, I mean, if people want optimism, the Twins have been awful. They've been free-falling. So I feel like the Mariners probably have to go 10-2 also, but between...
What do the Twins do?
5 and 7.
5 and 7?
Yeah.
That sounds about right. They've been the 3rd worst team in all of baseball in the last month, only ahead of
They go for Tigers to do no better than 7 and 5.
Yeah, and you've probably got to make up your ground against the Tigers this week because the Tigers have the Royals and the Orioles this week. Next week they have the Rays, who are fine, and then they have the White Sox.
Wouldn't that be crazy if after all of this, you go 8 and 4, the Twins go 5 and 7.
And the fighting
you
freaking
beat the
Benettis.
Twins.
The fighting Benettis.
And the Tigers also go 8 and 4 and they get in.
You don't think I'd throw
pen thing? Oh my God, that would be a kick in the teeth, man.
Yeah, I mean that's real though.
Elephants don't have hooves. What do they have?
Hooves,
all
I
right.
think. Yeah.
What do they have? Cloven hooves? What does an elephant have?
Well, we'll check it out on
The AI says no, elephants don't have hooves, they have toenails.
Thank you.
Elephants are part of the near ungulate group, which means they have toenails instead of hoofs.
Huh.
They're in the near ungulate.
So you just call it an elephant foot?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, and you know what the fair they call it?
I know they're pachyderms.
Elephant ears.
Elephant ears. Well, I'm aware that they have ears. 50 minutes, we will delve more deeply into 2 or 3 things that Mike McDonald told us yesterday that speak volumes about who he is.
Bumpin' Stacy.
The Seahawks are 2-0.
No, cut it. We got something to do.
No, we don't.
We got it done, baby. Y'all didn't want to play this game because you knew we probably could get you. Holla at your boy. Wazoo, what it do? Let's go.
Bumpin texted me yesterday to have the fight song ready.
Yo, I'm so
at the start of the show.
That for real.
It's funny because Stacey had all this stuff planned for the start of the show, and Bump and I just gave each other a look like
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and you may see your favorite football and baseball teams wearing light blue towels, armbands, or ribbons. It's all in an effort to increase awareness of the second most common cancer and the number 2 cause of cancer death for males. Prostate cancer, when detected early, is curable. In Seattle, Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. When other radiation treatments may last 6 to 9 weeks, Swedish CyberKnife treatment is typically 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. The system delivers radiation with extreme accuracy, sparing healthy tissue. The vast majority of CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when intended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
I was unable to walk for 3 months. The insurance company was very excited to talk to me and wanted to make sure that I had up to $5,000. My attorney quickly told me, they need to talk to us because there wasn't any amount of compensation that would make up for what I experienced. The Davis Law Group really helped me out.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog. Because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail. And you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, we're 2 weeks into this season. Mike McDonald still learning about his team. We asked him yesterday what he's figured out so far.
A lot. All the things that we said we want to be about, there's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have, I think we're a connected team. I think we have confidence in one another. I just felt like we haven't batted an eye with all the crap that's happened in the first two games. These games are, it's the NFL, like these things are going to happen.
He goes on to mention poise a couple more times, and I would agree with most of that analysis. I mean, I feel like I've learned that they're deep, they're resilient, they're calm, they're fast, and very capable of adjusting in game and even outside of games. I kind of get the sense, and I said this morning, they're going to be better than they are now in a month. And they are going to be better than that in 2 months. And that's not to say they're going to win every game along the way, but I get the sense this team's going to improve throughout this season.
Well, that would be tremendous. I mean, you do that, I think you get to double-digit wins. I mean, if you're a team that just continues to improve and kind of learn about one another and be able to make those adjustments, I do also, and I know on paper, maybe on the field, they're not particularly young because Geno is not young, and some of your D linemen aren't young, and your secondary people in Love and Jenkins are not young. But I think because the staff is so young, it just kind of provides that feel of being just young and hungry. And you listen to McDonald, there's no satisfaction. They're super happy about getting these wins, but it's a grind and it's right back to work. And when you've got just that youthful energy and exuberance and it plays out on the field, that's positive. But if you're right, and this team's better in a month, and then even better than that in 2 months.
I mean, don't you get the sense that's going to happen? Just with the coaching and I don't know, it just everything seems like the momentum will take us that way again. That doesn't mean that the record will necessarily show that. And other teams will improve during that time as well.
I think the only thing I would counter to that is teams are going to get to know this group better.
True.
They're going to get to see this Ryan Grubb offense and try to figure out what
I think other teams will
on.
get better as well, but I get the sense that they will definitely improve, and I think I love that he a couple of times mentioned the poise with which they play.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
I'm doing it. I'm making a band jacket, Voice of Poise. And then that band out there that's going to perform at the Puyallup Fair or the Gorge or whatever, and just, I don't even need credit. I don't even need money for it. Voice of Poise.
I don't know whether you and I see this one the same way. Productive night for the Mariners last night, despite not doing anything. Houston loses 3-1 in San Diego. Merrill, Profar, both going deep. I watched that game on MLB Network, which was great. Makes the deficit an even 4 as the two teams each now have 12 games remaining, 3 against each other. Minnesota... Man, they had a lead late. They gave up a 2-run shot in the 8th. Cleveland comes back to get the win there. So the Mariners are just 2 back in the wild card. Really, it's 3 because they lose the tiebreaker. And then Detroit keeps pace by taking out Kansas City by a run. Overall, Brock, you just can't overemphasize how big every one of these games they have left are. And because of it, they are juggling the lineup. It'll be Wu and Miller in games 1 and 2 here against New York. Emerson Hancock had been scheduled for the finale, but they're going to skip him and go with Logan Gilbert.
Good, because this Yankees lineup is devastating.
Oh, my gosh.
And, yeah, I mean, Judge and Soto are pretty good, but then they've got depth around that, and they, too, also pitch well, and their bullpen is pretty nails, and it's why they're 3 games up on the Orioles, chasing the American League East pennant. So you're going to get their very, very best. You're going to get their sense of urgency. I do like it's going to be a little chilly. That fall has come to the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. I don't mind that.
With the Yankees in town?
Yeah, that ball maybe not carrying quite as much.
I mean, maybe. I don't think it's going to affect the guy who hits the ball as hard as Judge does or anything like that. But I appreciate your point, and we'll see how it affects this one.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Kirk Cousins really did lead Atlanta all the way down the field for what turned out to be a game-winning touchdown with no timeouts. He found Drake London.
Cousins looks right, has a man. Touchdown, Drake London. And we are tied with the extra point to come.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think it was over at that point. I don't know about that. I mean, 35 seconds, 2 timeouts to go 30, 35 yards.
Where are you on Jalen Hurts?
I like him so much, but I really did not like that pick last night.
I don't know. I think he's one of those guys that from afar you do like and love and respect and all of that. But if he were your guy,
I don't know.
His judgment and just his I don't know, man. There have been some rough patches and some decisions. We saw that on Monday night last year in this building against Drew Lock, and just a terrible pick at the end of the game. And
he's got to clean that up.
Coordinators multiple times.
A lot of people seem to think the problem is the head coach.
Well, he's no longer calling plays.
Well, they still seem to think it's him.
All right.
I've seen a lot of that. The problem is the quarterback, apparently. In Carolina, though, they are making a change. They're going to bench Bryce Young and go with the Red Rifle, Kyle's guy, Andy Dalton, back in the league and starting in Carolina.
Lyle, you've got to like the Red Rifle, don't you?
Why?
I guess. He pump you
Why
up?
does he have to like the Red Rifle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't he pump you up? Great hair. I mean, great lettuce.
Playmakers on 3.
I mean, he's just a motivator.
I mean, that's another guy that used to torch the old Seahawks defense.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll see what he's got. That's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the middle daughter, Macy, who's playing at Oklahoma State this year, playing hoops. What goes into Hell Week?
Well, she's a very tough hombre. She's the one that had to do like this heart test and ask the people at the UW whatever medicine, like, what's the farthest anyone's gone on this stress test? And they're like, yeah, Mace, doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know, we're just cross-country elite runners here. Like, what do? Well, they're like at 25 minutes. And sure enough, like she's got it on, and I'm looking at the monitor, and her heart rate's like 198 at 20 minutes, and she won't quit. So, yeah, Hell Week, I think they're in the pool with the SEALs. I think they're on the turf, carrying
When you say
whatever.
the SEALs, I assume you don't mean like the animals.
No, like a Navy SEAL that is like brought in there to do some.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that would be problematic maybe for you and me. And
at this age, yeah, that would be a major problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I was at Cecily's first basketball practice yesterday. They didn't do anything quite like that.
They didn't do any of that?
No, but I saw something I've never seen before. This is fifth grade girls basketball team.
Okay.
And so this is their first practice. So they're all getting to meet each other, and they did some like getting to know you stuff. And then they did a drill I've never seen before, and I loved it. Not necessarily for adults, but for fifth graders. They did a help each other up off the floor drill. I thought it was the greatest thing
like
ever.
Team bonding, like you're going to take a charge or,
the person next to her up and then lay down themselves. And then they did that all the way down and said each other's names so that they would learn each other's names.
Okay,
and then the person at the end had to run all the way back to, and this is who we are.
About it. Yeah.
This is who we are. We're going to work together. I thought it was, they did a lot of also real.
I thought that was like something that just naturally happened, like learning to walk. Like you just do that when you're a teen. No, I mean, I guess I thought that was.
I honestly
natural.
think I think that's more of like a conditioning than anything else,
I don't
especially
know how
for having to like run back.
I couldn't get the kid up. Like she was not like of all the
Maybe I'm
things
gonna-
yesterday.
I think I'm
It was
gonna
probably the drill
incorporate
she
this.
struggled with the most.
I'm going to incorporate this into my
In the
garage.
dungeon,
Yeah.
really stood out. Brock and I were on the phone with each other 5 minutes after the show ended, talking through a few of the things we heard from the coach, and we will talk to you about it next.
22nd, just open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
In the back of the end zone, DK. Does he have his feet in it now?
You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Do it every day, September 13th through September 17th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Holy catfish!
Hey, you guys looking for a fun night out this week? Only 30 minutes from downtown. Think about Snoqualmie Casino. It is the place to go. And they got the whole expansion going on now. It is almost done. Multi-phase deal. It's going to include a new hotel. Yeah, that's right. Expanded gaming floor, destination spa, big 2,000-seat entertainment convention center, a new parking structure, and then the 2 new signature restaurants with a third to open eventually as well. All of this starts only 30 minutes from downtown. It's online at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
It does! Seahawks ball!
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Fall is here. Football is back. Are your sinus and allergy symptoms back too? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Does your nasal congestion, snoring, sinus pressure, or runny nose plague you? We can diagnose and treat your problems. From allergy workups to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, fixing your nose is easier than rooting against Denver. We can get you relief. Find us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at assetroofingco.com.
Certified work is never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours. The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
We were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Green Day present the Saviors Tour. Live in Seattle, T-Mobile Park, September 23rd. Performing both Dookie and American Idiot in their entirety, plus fan favorites and tracks from their new album, Saviors, with the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Green Day, the Saviors Tour, fueled by Monster Energy. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What's the most important relationship in an NFL organization? I found myself thinking about this yesterday, and there's some pretty good contenders for that title. It's probably the relationship between the coach and the GM, number one, don't you think? McDonald, in this case, McDonald and John.
Yes.
What's after that? And some of the
probably owner and president, owner GM.
Owner GM.
I think kind of owner GM.
Okay.
So that there's just such trust between them that hey, I need this. Hey, can we do this? Hey, this really just really believe in one another.
Coach, offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, coach quarterback, coordinator quarterback, quarterback wide receivers. Like there's a lot, right? There's a lot of these very important relationships. After listening to McDonald yesterday, would it make sense if I said to you, in this organization right now, the coach offensive coordinator relationship is at a premium, maybe even more so than in other organizations, where, as McDonald said yesterday, that's not his bag yet. He's still learning about offense. He's not all the way there. And he and Grubb don't really know each other that well. They really just kind of met and started working together a few months ago. How important is that relationship really?
Yeah, I think that is really, really important when Mike is tasked with everything he's tasked to do. You know, Salk, we did this Baylor game, and obviously I chatted with Mike McDonald about it, I think, in our first show, and how he knew Dave Aranda and everything else, and they were friendly. And in college football, I think it's only the Vanderbilt coach and Dave Aranda that are head coach and defensive coordinator, because it's impossible to do. It is so hard to do. There's a bunch of offensive coordinators, Lincoln Riley, Jed Fish, a bunch of the guys that call offensive plays, because frankly, you dictate. I think that's a little easier versus defense. You're constantly reacting to everything and having to plan for everything an offense throws at you.
Right.
And you could just hear it in Mike McDonald, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that time. You know, like I've got to leave what I got to trust Grubb in this offense. I can't micromanage. I'm not in those meetings. I can't sit in there. When Tony Dungy was the head coach of the Colts, Salk, and remember Tony Dungy, former safety for the Steelers, you know, the head coach of the Tampa 2 Buccaneers with Monty Kiffin and everything they developed. You know what Tony would do as the head coach? He'd sit in our QB room because he fancied himself still a QB. He was a quarterback at the University of Minnesota, and I don't think that ever left him. He didn't spend time in the defensive meetings. He wanted to sit in our QB meeting. Yes. You know, and Mike McDonald can't do that. He cannot be afforded that opportunity. He's installing the defense. He's working with Dirty to make sure they're all on the same page.
So if all that is the case, he better have a lot of trust in Ryan Grubb to go take care of everything for him. And we asked him about that yesterday.
Well, it's not easy because defense requires a lot of my time, and because of just, you know, we're working from scratch on defense as well. So we're coming along, but it's still, you know, it's a hefty part of your responsibility. There's only so many hours in the day. I just think, I mean, I really, man, this isn't a shot at like offensive guys, but Ryan has like a really open mind and is willing, he listens and he's willing to like scrimmage things out situationally with you, where you're coming from, what he's thinking. It's like he's not afraid to be like, well, I was thinking this, and then have it not to be like the right thing. And then me too. So like it's my job to create this environment of like, hey, we're just looking for the best thing here, you know.
Gosh, I love that.
So did I.
Man, did I love that.
A lot.
I don't think I've ever heard that term used in that way either.
Scrimmage
like an elephant with hooves. Like, I've just never heard scrimmage things out, like work things out. But from a football perspective, that's exactly what you're doing. And he's not even talking about like scrimmaging on the field. It's just, man, that's football terminology. What do you think is going to work here? Hey, do you think we can try this? And he's so correct, Salt. There's so many guys that just, and I have seen this, like the best incubator of this truth is the UFL. Because in the UFL, it has been so fascinating over these 3 years, USFL and now the UFL and the XFL, to see these guys that come in with like, well, this is what I call. I mean, this is, you know, dice right, scat right. This is blue right, F short, 2-jet flanker drive. Like this is what I know. These are the plays. Like they think because they can call all these NFL plays with this verbiage and they know like a West. I can show it on a whiteboard and I can teach these plays, but like, yeah, that's not good enough. You know, you're not adapting, you know, like you're not adapting your personnel. You don't look and put your guys in the best place. They're not capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, frankly, like I was not a West Coast quarterback. You know, like in retrospect, it probably wasn't the smartest decision to draft a guy that was a much more of a between the tackles to do. This is what I know. Should I do all these? No, I'm not going to do any of that. This is what I know.
This is actually where we always gave a lot of credit to Darrell Bevel, right? For coming in and, well,
that's right.
Let's adapt what I do for him. And,
that's right.
And while I eventually ended up having a lot of problems with his in-game play calling, those who have been longtime listeners might remember, but probably don't, that I spent a lot of time saying, hey, what he did in terms of design for this offense was awesome. What he did in terms of in-game play calls, I had a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and I think some of that, unfortunately for him, was also Cable and Pete.
Maybe.
And, yes.
But the design for the conversation was,
right.
How do I build around the guy I actually have rather than what I've always done before? Well, come back here to the relationship with McDonald and Grubb. They barely know each other. and McDonald is busy working on the defense, which he says is starting from scratch. He's busy learning to be a head coach in the league for the first time. He didn't have time to deal with the defense. And as he said yesterday, he doesn't even know it all that well. He doesn't know enough about defense. I mean, man, I don't know too many coaches with that level of vulnerability. We're going to come back to that in a few minutes. But any team has to have pretty good trust and respect. but he's got to trust Grubb maybe even more than any other coach does.
And do you know what most NFL coaches do, Salk? And most coaches do, and this is like from the very jump, maybe, I mean, we spent some time on it.
Hire their friends.
That's right.
Right.
Hire people you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Hire people that you're just kind of loyal to, and hey, they kind of know a system. And versus, no, man, if we're going to truly disrupt this, and we're going to be disruptors in this marketplace, like I got to bring. Is it going to be a home run? Are we going to be able to do all of these things that he was able to do collegiately? Heck, with all these, more hours and more time, maybe it's going to free him up to do even more.
Yeah, he talked a little bit more about some of that process.
I mean, that's a great point. It's like, yeah, we haven't gone through these things as a whole staff, me personally as well. So, yeah, you're trying to do kind of, but then these things are going to evolve, right? Like how we get feel for how we're going to manage the game, especially late in the game, these fourth down decisions, like lots of stuff that you're just going through it. And like, you kind of start to find, even just like, hey, first team meeting with the guys. Hey, like, I'm giving it my best shot, but that's definitely wasn't my best fastball, since then. So it's like, and you just try to keep getting better at the things, and it'll become kind of mold in our identity as we go. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment for sure.
One of the things I find fascinating about talking to McDonald is I think a lot of people who say things like that are self-deprecating. Mm-hmm. That's not the word I would use to describe him. I don't get the sense he's being self-deprecating. I get the sense he's being vulnerable, and I could be wrong. I mean, maybe he's secretly totally different, but it feels like he doesn't know than any coach I've ever talked to in any sport. Now, maybe that's easier to do when you're smart and everyone already says you're smart, so you don't need to hear it and feel it yourself. But wow, honestly, every week he just impresses me more.
Yeah, I think, what we've always asked Pete Carroll and did through so many years, Mike, it's so many of these coaches that came into the league, and both publicly on the air and privately kind of talking through those situations, with Pete, that was a sounding board to so many. And I think his encouragement was the same to all of them. Like, you got to be who you are. You got to know who you are. Right. And at 36, Pete Carroll did not know who he was as a head coach. And I think he would admit that in his time in New York and New England. And it didn't go very well. And I think what you hear there from Mike McDonald is, I have a very clear vision. I've been around amazing people. I know what I wanted to do and want to do, and how it's going to look, and how I can scheme. But as far as trying to act like I've got all of this figured out, again, it was one of the greatest compliments. And Jeff Fisher, as I was catching up with him after the Seahawks and Titans joint practice, and he was out there, and he's like, Brock, it was so cool. Like Mike McDonald, you could tell, was truly listening and truly wanted to learn, and was like asking me questions. And so many of these, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to run. I know who I'm going to hire. I know that the comfort level I have with all these people.
It is pretty amazing. And I got to tell you, it seems to be working really well for him. I think that's some of the reason I feel comfortable saying I think that this is going to get better over the course of the next month or two, and over time, as he gets more comfortable and finds himself even more so in this job. I'll tell you what I loved was seconds left at the 15. So I kind of disagree with his decision, but I don't know how you could disagree with the logic and the way he worked through it.
It's been great to get it on third down. It was a little bit longer than it comes down to hey, is it 6 inches? Is it a yard? Is it a yard and a half? That plays into what you're going to call, and confidence wise of whether to get it. So, and then, only having the 2 timeouts, it definitely has a, plays a factor. The numbers were about even, analytically speaking. Matter of fact, it actually favored slightly to go for cut and dry decisions all the time. Now if they're super favorable, and you feel like you got a good play, then I definitely want to stay aggressive in those situations. But for that one, we had a fourth down earlier in the game, could have gone up 7. We had a really good drive going. I was third and longer. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get to a 4th and 1 there. 4th run was a go going into the series. And, in hindsight, you probably should have kicked it.
Okay, so there were a bunch of really interesting parts in there, right? There's 5 or 6 things that I could come back to. In hindsight, I probably should have kicked it is interesting, even though it worked out for him, right? The fact that he said 4th down was a go heading into it, I think that's pretty interesting. And he went on to say that that's something that you have to have a conversation with your head coach, with your coordinator ahead of time.
Absolutely, yeah, it's not fair to be on third down
right there, or Mike McDonald.
It could have been either one of them. They sound very similar in that moment. Yeah, the fact that he's got the analytics and that he's willing to look at it and then decide whether or not that's what's going to carry the day or not.
The fact that he's in constant communication with his analytics guy upstairs,
who's
constantly looking at the book
before Blue 88.
Well, so like we know in the series what we're going to go for chart, and then Brian Ayers, excuse me.
Got it.
So he's giving me that going into the series. I'm kind of saying, and then I kind of give Grubb as soon as I can. Hey, this is when it's going to be a go, or think it's going to be a go, or it might be, or hey, I think we're going to punt. And then so Jay's on the same line, Jay Harbaugh. So we're all kind of working together. So we're on the same page going to fourth down. But that doesn't just affect your second down or third down call. It affects your second down call, so on and so forth.
Did you like the way when he said Brian Ayers? I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, obviously, yeah. Right. That's what I figured, yeah.
So I'll say it confidently and definitively.
Oh, yeah. Obviously,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
I wanted the other people to know who you were talking about. Obviously, I know. Yeah, of course.
Yes. Man, there's a lot of moving pieces. I hope that that's a window in when you're like trying to figure out how are these guys so stupid? How did they not make that decision? Blah, blah. When you're sitting at your couch or you're sitting in Buffalo Wild Wings and then you realize how constantly – it's one thing for Dan Wilson in a dugout in baseball, where there's no play. Well, I guess there's a pitch clock, but you have time. You can sit and talk. You have human interaction next to you. This is all on the headset. This is all in real time. This is amidst the chaos of a game. This is with all the urgency going on, and you got to be, like air traffic control.
Yeah.
In total control of all of it.
Pretty cool window into Mike McDonald and his process. Let's do some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your host, Brock Heward.
Say, it's an easy fix with the run defense. Oh, it's an easy fix. We just have to do it.
Yes.
Okay. How was that different from Mike McDonald?
Yeah, I kind of like the way you said that. So if he's not self-deprecating, he's just vulnerable.
That's how it feels.
Genuine. It's just kind of transparent. Here was Mike McDonald talking about, and it wasn't, and we hear coaches say this all the time, and we love Gino being the thumb guy and not a finger pointing guy. But when Mike McDonald said, you're just like, man, that really does resonate.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll start with me. I mean, just with the plan and the preparation and some of the things that we put the guys in those spots, some looks that we haven't practiced. So I deserve as much finger pointing as anybody in that. So I need to improve.
I mean, when do we vulnerable and transparent and pretty on? But like that was so crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting the guys in the best position for their skill set. That's on me. That's my alignment and assignment and all of that. No, it's in this particular matchup where we're giving up size or strength. I've got to do a better job. I got to create better. And man, I found that just so incredibly refreshing because again, you don't hear many coaches, especially at that level, be vulnerable and put themselves on the spot. And I'll tell you one last thing that does, it wins over your team.
I would think so.
I mean, it wins over your players. Like that's not just, hey, I got to be better. He's going into great detail and he is truly out for our best. And that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Question number 2. All right, as for his quarterback, Geno Smith, Brock, you said that he didn't miss a throw in the game. Here's how he reacted.
I'm replaying the game in my mind right now, and that sounds right. I mean, I can't think of one I can't find one where it's like, hey, yeah, that was a bad throw. He played a tremendous game. I think it's credit to his approach in the offseason. I mean, this guy has absolutely grinded it out. Just took this thing head on from the get-go. Totally bought in taking in the process, the new language, the reads, all the audibles, all the moving parts, the moving and shifting. So I think Gino deserves a tremendous amount of the credit here on how he's playing.
I'll give you a little G Scott analogy. Worst car you've ever driven, Salt.
Worst car?
Worst car, dumpiest car, crappiest car that you've ever
I did love
had.
my old Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Okay. All
With
right,
the turning radius, it couldn't turn around on a 8-lane highway.
Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. I'm trying to think of what Waltier had. It's had some steer pin thing.
It's an old Ford Fiesta. There's my buddy's old Ford. What did Brian have? A Ford. It's the same as like a Horizon. Oh man, that thing. There was the old Dodge Omni.
Favorite car you've ever. Give me your favorite one that you valet that you got, and we're like, wow. Can you just imagine Ferris Buellering this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. The really nice cars that I valeted, I wouldn't get in. Like, this guy would show up with his Lambos, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not getting in that thing. Are you crazy? I'm here just to make a little extra
liability.
money.
I may be 20, but I know liability.
I'm not getting
I'm not
involved with
driving
that.
this thing.
I wasn't 20. I was like 25, 26 years old. I wasn't getting involved with that.
For Geno Smith to go from, and this, again, this is probably a shot on Shane Waldron, but Jackson Smith and Jigba took that first shot at the Super Bowl. We watched the game yesterday. And for Geno Smith to probably start the whole process, honestly, like back in March, looking at UW film, like, wow, this is kind of fun. Wow, this is pretty cool. I wonder if we're going to do some of these things. Wow, Penix could take a lot of shots. Man, there's a lot of receivers open in this system. And then start to hit the ground in April, and then get going in this and be like, whoa, this is a cool vehicle to drive. Like, I got answers on every play. Like, if I grind and I learn this thing and we do all this check with me and we do all this show stuff and we do all this double cadence and we do all these double plays and I get all these leverages and I get all these one-on-ones and I got dudes open, it's going to be really big in his career. That right now you're getting him and you're paying him return on investment. You're getting a great deal for Seattle. In his mind, he's like, okay, I'm the next $50 million guy if I keep playing at this level, and that is not hyperbole.
It's a Ford Escort that my buddy had. The red velvet seats.
I got to text Walt here.
That's pretty good.
Crap wagon that he
Question number 3. All right, lots of candidates, Brock. Through 2 weeks, who has been the best player on the Seahawks?
Charles Cross. I know that Rick Woolen has got just equally. I think Rick Woolen is the number one corner. According to Pro Football Focus, are way up there. I get that. Guess what he has? A great secondary around him. And Julian Love and Spoon and in a front that's getting after the quarterback and everything else. Charles Cross around him, chaos. Right? Sure yet. So Big Ray's going to join us, at 9:30 this morning? And he's going to go into a little more detail about this. But Charles Cross came into camp in the best shape of his life. Charles Cross wants to be the next in the passing game, which has been a big part of the success of these first 2 weeks. And he's also moving people and unbelievably athletic. Charles Cross, your eyes don't focus on him like they do other players and even corners. But Charles Cross has been lights out through the first 2 weeks of the season.
Sounds good. We'll talk to Ray about that at 9:30. That is today's Blue 88. Yeah, a lot of people remembering the Plymouth Horizon / Dodge Omni. Kind of the same car. Not great. I had a friend with that.
The Plymouth Horizon?
It was a Plymouth Horizon or a Dodge Omni. It was the same car.
Is Plymouth still around?
No.
Are they still making vehicles?
No, but it was a Plymouth. A lot of people liked my Eagle Talon. Yeah, 206. Eagle Talon, low-key badass car. I know. Dude, it was awesome. My 95 Eagle Talon's my favorite car I've ever had. Little stick shift sucker. Oh, yeah.
95 Eagle Talon.
95 Eagle Talon in green with a black top, man. Not convertible. It was just two-tone because that's how they roll.
Are you telling me a former Seahawk has also lost his mind? Do we have some sound of this?
I've got two people, the other from a former player. We'll play them both for you, and maybe you can vote. Next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
This game was won in large part because of Geno Smith. Now, that's not to take away from other things.
I think the defense had their moments where they needed some big stops, and they stepped up. Myers had 3 field goals at the game winner at the end of the day. No one man ever wins a football game, but Geno had the biggest influence.
A career high in completions at 33 and ties a career high in attempts.
It seemed like he was comfortable and on time. Like he knew what he was looking at. He knew what needed to be done, and he didn't really force anything.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter.
all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing, since 1917.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
When a product is made better, it lasts longer. Sounds simple, but Toyota of Kirkland wants you to know it's actually savvy. With Toyota's certified program at Toyota of Kirkland, you can score a high-quality, low-mileage Toyota at a great price. Talk about savvy. The tremendous team at Toyota of Kirkland has plenty of certified inventory for you to come see, test drive, and take home all in the same day. Now that's truly savvy. Visit the Savvy showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or toyotaofkirkland.com.
ZZ Top. Leonard Skinnerd. 2 American institutions unite. The Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour. This Saturday, White River Amphitheater. Special guest, The Outlaws. Until now at LiveNation.com. ZZ Top and Leonard Skinnerd live.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The dining district at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority. Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Who sounds crazier this morning? Washington head coach Jedd Fisch or former Seahawk Luke Wilson? And I've got sound from each of them to play you. I will start with Jedd Fisch, and I'll play this as Jed Fish being asked about that final fourth down play that was stuffed. The sprint option to the boundary, right? Speed, excuse me.
You're going to use terminology right.
All right. Speed,
and tomorrow, by the way,
sprint.
we're giving away a Madden game, and it's all terminology.
All right. Sounds good.
Sports terminology.
I'm sure people will be great at that.
Hope you know it.
I'm sure people will be really
Lousy
good at
Larry, just pay attention. Maybe 7:30 tomorrow, you get a second shot.
What do you make of running speed option into the boundary on fourth down? Here's Jed Fish.
You know, we had a chance. We didn't execute the play. I told the team last year it was 4th and 1 with 1:15 left on the -29 and the 11-0 Washington team against the 5-6 Washington State team, and they converted a reverse. A year later, it's 4th and 1 with 1:12 with a 24-19 game, and we don't convert on an option play. It happens. If the reverse doesn't convert, Washington State wins last year 24-21. So in our case, the option play didn't convert, and we didn't execute the play. And if we executed the play, it would have converted.
No. The play was dead on arrival. And I said that to you yesterday, and I've seen some of my peers, and like Salka reversed to Roma Dunze. Do you know in actuality what that play was? Like a triple option. Michael Penix had multiple options. You had multiple ways to attack it. You didn't go up there with a one-trick pony, like this is all we got. That play had built-in and baked-in opportunities. You could have handed it off, right? So there was a fake to the running back if the box was right and the look was right. If they cheated in and brought safeties down and put them in the box, and you know what? You could do the little flip to Roma Dunze, and he's out on the edge with open space to run and make a play. You run speed option into the boundary with your unathletic quarterback instead of your athletic quarterback, and you run a play into numbers, and you don't have an option because you already called timeout. Please do not compare those two. Please don't do that. That's just X's and O's. That just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for football people.
I don't love the if we executed part.
Yeah, I don't like that at all either.
I don't love the if only the kids had executed, then it would have worked.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't love that.
And it was on him, so that this seems like the opposite of that.
Yeah, that is odd. I don't.
Yeah, listen to Mike
love
McDonald take responsibility for the run defense.
Yeah,
easier to do in a win, obviously.
Sure.
Easier to do when you're 2-0 and riding high and everything else. But listen to Mike McDonald. He didn't point to, we got to execute. Yeah, guys got to tackle better. Yeah, we put him in the right position. Like, no, it's on me. It's on me first and foremost.
Didn't love the way all of that came down. Okay, so let me play you some Luke Wilson. It's actually cut up into two different cuts. So Luke is now working for TSN up in Canada, sort of their sports, their ESPN.
Okay.
And he is not excited about what he's seen from the Seahawks so far.
It's strange because they're 2-0, but I've gone from like hope to worried to I'm hitting the panic button. I've been in Seattle for a bit. I look at what happened today. The Patriots rushed for 185 yards. I mean, look at this. I'm used to the Legion of Boom days where we were coming downhill and making every tackle. And offensively, we heard all in all about this all offseason about Ryan Grubb, our new OC. And today, I mean, it did hurt not having Kenneth Walker, but we couldn't run the ball to save our lives.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Geno Smith, like, we don't bias, but I look at this offense. I play with Geno, and I think the guy is incredible, and I think he's playing extremely well. JSN I never played with, but everybody there says he's incredibly talented, a big game today.
He did.
Obviously, DK, a guy that they do not use, which I don't know why, is Noah Fant. But we mentioned Tyler Lockett, always Mr. Clutch for them. And instead we barely beat Denver, and we arguably could have lost to New England today.
A loss was very much on the table.
Oh, yeah.
And I get it's disappointing because it just doesn't feel like, the Seahawks of old, I should say.
Okay, a lot of questions I have for Luke after that.
Wow.
The first is on the 35 to 40 points.
Yeah.
Why is this team not scoring third of all time?
Of all time?
Who's the number one scoring offense of all time?
Show on turf on there? You got to be up there, right?
No, not in the. They are in the top 10.
They're in the top 10.
They're in the top 10. They're number 10. Number one is the 2013 Broncos. Number one scoring offense of all time. They scored basically 38 points a game. Number 2 is the 07 Patriots, who were, as you may remember, undefeated until the Super Bowl. They scored about 37 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the 18 Chiefs at 35 and the Packers of 2011 at 35. That's the extent of teams that have averaged 35 points a game. Averaging that, or maybe even 5 points higher than that.
Right.
Because they need to use Noah Fant more or something. I don't know.
I mean, Salk, the Saints have scored 45 points a game. I'm with Luke. Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. I mean, you did play with them, but you also played with the other Seahawks teams that didn't hit anything. What are we talking about? I'm very confused by the whole Luke Wilson thing.
How many teams are scoring more than 35 a game right now?
I don't know. I didn't even look at this year.
It'd just be Arizona and New Orleans. Arizona's at 34.5. I mean, yeah, they're right there.
2
That's
weeks
it.
into the season, if you have one big week,
Correct.
you can be at that spot.
Yeah.
But I think it's telling that the greatest teams offensively of all time, none of them got above 38. But this Seahawks team with this offensive line is supposed to be better than any in the panic button.
We're not running. We're not stopping the run.
Were you
not
surprised?
panicking.
All right, so who's crazier today?
2-0. Yeah, I'd say Luke.
I do too. Yeah,
I'd say probably Luke. I'd probably lean into
Love Luke, but I would say if I have to choose between those two, who's crazier?
And remind me again, Luke didn't believe in the moon landing. Is that true?
I think he's I don't know if he's a flat earther specifically, but I know it is believe in the moon landing. Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's a good hot take. You got to have hot takes. You got to have hot takes to resonate.
It doesn't work well though when you throw the we into it. I think the we makes the hot take a little harder to take. Poster or something like an angry comment board person.
Yeah, and back to the fish one, Mara, that's an astute point because after the game, he definitely put the blame on him and kind of took all of that. And I think you hear there yesterday, after watching the game and watching the tape, I would think that that's more built into the 16 penalties. I hope that that's kind of carryover into the frustration that, we killed ourselves. Like 16 penalties. And, that play, if we execute, whatever. But I think he knows, like on a whiteboard, that's not a good concept. That is just not a good concept. I mean, it's just not. And I don't think he maybe knew the X's and O's behind as I've had a chance to talk to Kalen DeBoer. Like, no, that play had, because on the surface, you look at a reverse and you're like, you're running a reverse? With your college football playoff lives on the line? Like you're running a reverse. It wasn't a reverse. It was a run.
It's a triple option.
It was a triple option. You could have checked the pass, and then obviously the end around. If the space to the field is there, and it was there with your best player running that, not Will Rogers running speed option, but Rome Odunze in space. Very, very different circumstances.
Maybe you've heard more reading some of the commercials, Brock, but as you know, Seattle Sports has partnered with the Seattle chapter of WISE to support the Women of Inspiration Award, an award to recognize a woman in our community who shares the desire to leave a lasting impact on future generations of women in the sports and events industries. The nominees have been narrowed down to 4 finalists. The voting is now open, and the winner will receive a generous cash donation to the cause of their choice. Help us select a winner. Cast your vote now at WOI-Seattle.org. Excuse me, WISeattle.org. Voting ends September 20th. So go to WOI-Seattle.org. All right, coming up, we'll give you guys everything you need to know, and then Jeff Passan. That should be interesting today. We'll see if he has the same number.
How you feel about Gino, you think he's a journeyman, you think he's great, whatever you think.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
You can't look at that game objectively and not say he put the team on his back. He was under constant pressure. He had 5 drops from his receivers, and he still went 33 of 44, 327 yards and a touchdown. He was spectacular.
I wouldn't argue with you. I thought Gino was pretty much the game ball winner.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, come on, folks, this morning, our baseball team's got a sense of urgency. I hope you have the same when it comes to your insurance. I know many of you are frustrated. Molly and I were there. Like, am I getting the best coverage? Am I paying? Why are my premiums going up through the roof? What am I even paying for? If you're asking yourself those kind of questions, and you have got to reach out to my friends at First Mark. We heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, Molly and I, that save people so much money. We decided we got to take this challenge. It's totally free. And here's how they do it. Here's how First Mark is your teammate that goes to work for you. They fully analyze your current coverage. And you got the right coverage at the right price. They're going to tell you that. But more than likely, you don't. which is going to leave you at risk for significant financial loss and even more. And that is where they go then to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've got relationship with to find you the best fit, and that's it. There's no stress. There's no confusion. It's totally free, and they're your teammate doing the work for you. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge. Did I tell you? It's totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey. And how do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC.
The fresher, the better.
Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashby has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, we are now 2 weeks in, and Mike McDonald is 2-0. A wonderful start for him in his Seahawks and coaching career. He's still learning about his team. Talked a little bit about that yesterday. We also had the opportunity to ask about the couple of things that maybe haven't gone perfectly, starting with mostly the running the ball and the keeping the run contained. Let's see. Here he is on his offensive line.
Yeah, I think well, we need to run the ball better. I mean, that's like, hello, that's obvious. So we're going to be working for that, you know.
Hello.
That's going to be a work in progress. But like, if you would have had the same conversation at the end of the Denver game, you would have said, "Hey, we were fine on our."
Right.
So like right now we're in this. I wouldn't say like in flux, but we're just trying to find, hey, what are the schemes that we can kind of hang our hat on, how we're operating. I mean, this is an ongoing process. I'm optimistic with it. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get it done.
Is that like a Dave Sims hello or a Lionel Richie hello? What do you think? Neither.
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 Yeah.
Neither. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And once again, though, what do you hear there at the end of it? And I love this. This is the job of coaching, and you would think that everybody would do it. Just like at the 5th grade practice that you watched last night with a club basketball coach. You would think that everybody would look at their personnel and go, what do we do best?
Mm-hmm.
And they're in discovery mode. It's one thing in training camp, Salk. It's one thing in preseason games. Now, in the big time, now with like the biggest and the best that we're going against, are we a gap team? Are we a zone team? Are we an outside zone team? Like, what are we going to be? What do our personnel, what does our personnel do well? And instead of being like hard-headed and we're going to do this, I think it's much more of we're still trying to figure out exactly what it is. And with Charbonnet, maybe a little different. With Ken Walker, maybe a little bit different. You know, if Abe Lucas gets back in the fold, maybe a little different. Christian Haynes versus Bradford are different. So there's a lot of different. They are still sorting through, no question about it.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Mariners had a great night despite not doing anything. It ended with Houston losing 3-1 in San Diego. Got to watch a lot of that game on MLB Network, which was awesome. So the deficit in the division is down to 4 games as these two teams now have 12 each remaining. 3 of them will come against each other. Minnesota looked like they were going to win. They end up falling due to a late Cleveland home run. So the Mariners moved to 2 games back in the wild card, but really it's 3 because they got to get ahead of the Twins. And then Detroit keeps pace by taking out Kansas City by a run. What's it going to take to get in? Here's John Morosi yesterday with Wyman and Bob.
Number that pops into my head was 10. Now, and maybe that's getting greedy, but you've got to be almost flawless. And that's why it's a very narrow chance of it happening. You basically have to play like the Rockies of 2007 and then hope that the Twins and to some extent the Tigers play like the Red Sox of 2011. So you're basically hoping like two one-off things all happen at the same time.
Would 87 and 75 be 54%? Trying to figure that out. Pretty close.
I think it's 88, but I'm not sure.
Is it 88, 87, 88?
I don't really care.
Got to get to that number. You got to get 10. You're 4 over right now. It is, and you can't do this. And I'm going to be rooting like heck that they can get it done and go win 10. But man, is it going to be head scratching to go, oh my gosh, how many games? How many walk-off losses? How many opportunities? How many games did your rotation give you an opportunity? But that's all for naught right now. That is not the conversation now. Now it is charging ahead and win this series. Find a way to win this series so you can be, when you head to Houston, within earshot of those Astros.
If you really think you need to go 10-2, you got to do more than win the series. I mean, it kind of sounds like you need to sweep, right?
Yankees are pretty good, Mike.
I know that. So where do your 2 losses get to come from? 1 to the Yankees and 1 to either the Rangers and the A's? And there you go?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That sounds very, very challenging.
It's possible.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Do you know the percent chance? Do you know, Salk,
No.
You got like a 7-8% chance.
I don't know the percent chance.
Do you know the percent chance that the Falcons had late in that game before Barkley dropped that ball? 0.7% chance of winning. 0.7%.
Why
and they did it.
Why didn't they run?
Because he was wide open in the flat to catch it and win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
great play call.
People in Philly
no
are
risk
a little
involved. Throw it out to the flat to your best player. Let him just catch it and do something he could do 99 out of 100 times.
He didn't do it that time.
He just didn't do it that time.
That's for darn sure. Kirk Cousins instead leads them right down the field for a touchdown. And then I saw these people afterwards like, oh, that game's over. The game's over. That game's not over. Not in this NFL, right? 34 seconds left and 2 timeouts. That's not over.
Not even close.
Unfortunately for Philadelphia, it's over when you throw a pick 2 plays into the drive, and that's exactly what they did, so they lose. Panthers coach Dave Canales is benching last year's #1 overall pick, Bryce Young, in favor of Andy Dalton. Here's Adam Schefter with more.
24 hours after the Panthers head coach Dave Canales said he was sticking with Bryce Young as his quarterback, he made the decision to change quarterbacks. He said that he looked over the film, he thought about it overnight, he came in and spoke to people this morning and ultimately decided that changing to Andy Dalton would give the Carolina Panthers the best chance to win as they prepare to take on the Las Vegas Raiders this Sunday. And this means that Bryce Young will have been benched faster than any #1 overall pick ever has been, and the Panthers are moving in a new direction.
Wow, which is pretty crazy. A lot of reports that he would have lost the locker room if he didn't do it.
A lot of Seahawks out there. Right, Scott Fitterer was the one to draft Bryce Young, and now Dan Morgan and Dave Canales are the one leading that ship and have an opportunity to be like, yeah, not our pick. You know, we're not gonna go down with this. And you know, I would hope for Bryce. I think he's an unbelievably talented player. He's really little, but I would hope for him this is a chance to get right. Because watching some of those throws, Salk, he was making those throws in Pop Warner. And when you get to that point and you're that broken mentally, where like physically you can't even do things, you know, that honestly you could do when you were 12 years old.
Yeah,
and you've been doing your whole life. I think at that point you do. You're kind of forced into, this guy right now has basically got the yips. He's basically got the yips, so let's go to the Red Rifle because we know that guy is a motivator.
He sure is. Well, never count anybody out.
Ballers
never,
on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Playmakers. Never count anybody out in the NFL. I mean, right now, Andy Dalton.
Sam
Darnold is playing.
You confuse those two. One's redheaded, the other one's strawberry.
All right, that's really not it. I just kind of blanked on his name. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock.
Have you ever heard that great line, Lyle? The Andy Dalton playmakers? Like, it is super, super motivating.
It is quite the motivation.
If you're ever down, you're ever having a tough time, ever wondering, like, can I get up? Can I keep doing this? Can I plow through Brock and Saul harassing me? Just listen to little Andy Dalton. He will get you fired.
You think that
up.
always does it?
I think so.
See if I even have it here.
Here you go, guys. 4-0. Whatever it takes. Let's get it. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Playmakers. All right, there you go. There's Andy Dalton, and that can get us very excited for Jeff Passan. Who's next on Brock and Salk?
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins on September 22nd. Just open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
In the back of the end zone, DK. Does he have his feet in it now?
You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be.
Touchdown! Seahawks!
Do it every day, September 13th through September 17th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Holy catfish!
All right, guys, for years I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust, right? Well, what does that mean? Trust that a contractor is going to show up on the day and the time that you agreed. Trust they're going to complete the work and leave you with a brand new roof that'll last. Trust Riverside Roofing will keep your yard and driveway clean of debris like nails and shingles. Or trust Riverside Roofing will give you a roof at a price that is fairly worth. Trust means everything. And when it comes to choosing a roofing company for your home or your business, it should be at the top of the list. I found Riverside Roofing to be exceptional in their work, professionalism, and they've been trustworthy as well. Riverside Roofing is a family-owned local company. They serve Western Washington. Give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall, and you won't regret it. Riverside Roofing has worked with people at the station, other listeners who've heard me talking about them for 6 years now. Talk to Dawn or Brandon or Jordan. Call them or go to riversideroofingllc.com. It is the roofing company you can trust.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Uh-oh. Looks like your plumbing just threw a Hail Mary into the wrong end zone. But don't worry, folks. Flowhawks Plumbing and Septic is here to intercept the mess. From busted pipes to clogged drains, we've got the plays that'll turn your plumbing fumble into a winning touchdown. Why risk a penalty? Call Flowhawks, the hometown heroes who will blitz that plumbing problem before it costs you the game. Because when your pipes are on the line, we bring our A game. Talk to the Hawk. 1-800-FLOWHAWK. That's 1-800-FLOHAWK.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
We got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
At Shane Company, we'll help you design an engagement ring as unique as your love story. We have the widest selection of diamonds and gemstones for you to choose from, and you can compare them side by side right here in our store. Only at Shane Company can you sift through exquisite diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in a variety of shapes and sizes. We'll help you create your dream engagement ring no matter your price range. Choose the ring setting that speaks to your style, from classic to modern to vintage. We offer so many ways to personalize your ring. Pick your favorite center stone, add a decorative crown and a custom engraving, or select a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, our jewelers know how much your ring means to you. They hand-set each center stone with precision and pride in our jeweler's workshop, so you can feel confident knowing your ring is crafted with the greatest care and comes with an unmatched free lifetime warranty that lets you know we'll always be here for you. Your love story deserves to shine bright. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Good morning, Jeffrey Passan. How are you, sir?
I am doing excellent, gentlemen. Yourselves?
We're doing well. A little off day yesterday. Chance to sit back and watch a little Astros and Padres, and nice to see the Padres kind of, help out the Mariners last night, thrown in that Vetter Cup Peoria Sports Complex brotherly love, and help make these last 12 games a little bit more interesting.
It is interesting to me that you're thinking more about the division than you are the wild card at this point.
I'm kind of, go back and forth on which I'm thinking about more. The Twins have obviously played a whole lot worse. You got to get 3 games back on the Twins, but then also you get 3 games against the Astros. So which should you be thinking about more?
I think probably the Twins, frankly, because I think the Twins and also ahead the Mariners now are the Tigers. But I think the Astros are just a better team than both of them. And I don't know. Neither's particularly realistic at this point. But I think I said a few weeks ago, like, they're going to sort of hang around and they're not going to fall out of this thing. And I just thought that because of the pitching, because that's what it's going to do all year. It's going to tease them and tantalize them and keep giving an idea that the swoon in the middle of the season wasn't ultimately catastrophic, which I think it's in the end going to be. But it would be very appropriate for this team to compete all the way through the end and then just not get it done. Because this team, I think ultimately when we look back on it, is going to be one whose story is that it was just disappointing. Just like the
wet blanket.
Kid,
just a wet freaking blanket this morning. Dozen games to go, and he just got to throw his wet blanket on everybody. Just diminish.
You know what?
I mean, John Paul Morosi's on the station yesterday. We're going to go 10-2. We're going to find a way. We're going to be.
He said they were going to go 10-2. He said they needed to go 10-2.
Don't let facts.
Jeff Passan, the wet blanket, raining on parades, harsh and buzzes all day.
They're going to have bad years coming up.
Jeff Passan, the wet blanket.
Wet blanket. Tell me what I said was wrong, Brock. Let's hear it. You're going to be a tough guy over there assaulting me over the airwaves and saying, oh, he's a wet blanket. What am I saying that's wrong? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nothing. That's a pregnant pause like Mike McDonald gave us yesterday when we asked about the rush defense or different things. It's been hard, definitely challenging. But I would say, Jeffrey, that they're wearing their City Connects. And do you know what the Mariners' record is when they wear their City Connects this year? Do you know their record, Jeffrey?
I don't.
15-1.
But I'll say
15-1. How do you like those apples? And you know what they're going to wear tonight? Their City Connect. And tomorrow night, their City Connect. And the night after that, their City Connect.
I love that we're at the point in the season, Brock, where the thing that you're holding on to is not the talent of the team, but the uniform that it's wearing.
At least it's not the teal.
Real confidence you got there. I will say this: 15-1 in those uniforms is warranted because those things are awesome.
They are pretty awesome.
I was in Bristol this weekend doing baseball tonight, and we have this whole setup where lots of TVs, and we're just watching all the games at the same time. The producer of the show is like, I love the Mariner City Connect. Like, everything about them is so good. And I agree.
You like the black pants?
I love the black pants, man. It's got a real 80s vibe to me.
Yes.
When it's like I don't think I feel like in the 80s it was like effortless fashion. They weren't trying to be cool, but they had like the patterns and the colors put together and matched them, and they were awesome. And it was effortlessly cool, and that's what the Mariners look like in those uniforms.
Okay, so wildest superstition, Passan, as you've covered this great sport for decades, right? Because it is a superstition. Dan Wilson talked about it. Like, right now we're 15-1 in these, and guys want to wear them, and they believe that the uniform is having some sort of impact. And you know what? We know baseball players can be superstitious. What are a couple of the craziest, wildest superstitions that Jeff Passan has seen and been around?
Jason Giambi's lucky thong.
That's a pretty good one.
You you kind of brought this on yourself. I was not anticipating picturing a 6'4", 250-pound man walking around in a golden thong, and this thing was like it wasn't just like half a thong; it was like a full send thong, and the Yankees got really hot when he was wearing it.
Makes sense.
I mean, there will be this isn't silly. Well, no, actually, I lie. It's ridiculously silly. Wade Boggs eating chicken before every game.
Yeah,
like fried chicken before every game, and then going out and like perpetually hitting 330.
How about anything Turk Wendell related?
Brushing your teeth in between innings.
Yeah. Refusing to start an inning until the center fielder would wave back to you.
Yeah. There's a point, though.
Contract ended with sixes because he was obsessed with the number 66. Like, he's definitely a nut job. All right, can we talk some actual baseball here for a few minutes? Emerson.
You're the one who brought up superstition.
That was Brock. Let me be clear. That was not me. That was Brock.
And where are we? Where are we? It's a Brock and Salk show. Where are we?
Not when you do that. Then it's a you thing. I step myself back away from that.
Okay. Why is his name first, Mike?
Huh? Because he's better than me. What do you mean, why is his name first? Because he's Brock Ewart, and I'm some schlub who gets to be his caddy.
It's alphabetical. That's all it is. It's just alphabetical.
Oh, man.
Why does Brock and Salk sound so much better than Salk and Brock?
Any number of reasons. Like how long you got. Emerson Hancock's going to get at least one, maybe two more starts the rest of the way. Do those starts and how he performs in any way influence what you do this offseason and your willingness to potentially trade another pitcher?
No, it's two starts. And I think when I see Emerson Hancock, it's almost like, well, this is such the wrong word to use on these airwaves. You're so spoiled by the starting rotation that you look at Hancock and you're like, he doesn't throw 96 or 97, and he doesn't, go out there and put up 2 walks per 9 and strike out 9 or 10 guys. And like the bar has been set so high in the Mariners rotation that it's almost like you don't remember what it's like having a starting pitcher who doesn't look like he would be in the top 2 in any other rotation in Major League Baseball. And so I think the understanding that it's okay for the Mariners to potentially have a guy who may be more of an innings eater than the dominant sort of guy. And I think that may wind up where Hancock, or that may be where Hancock winds up ultimately, a guy who's, throwing 160 innings. But if you can get that from the back end of the rotation, if you can get that period, someone who consistently goes out there and throws 150-plus innings is an extremely valuable player, like really good. And if he does take the spot of whoever it may be in the rotation, I think he is perfectly capable of being a big league starter 30 times in a season. And that these 2 games, while it would be nice to see him go out and pitch well, aren't going to be like the be-all, end-all of him staking a claim so that the Mariners can go out and do what they may need to do and trade a pitcher.
After you mentioned the Red Sox as a possibility for the offseason last week, I checked in, texted with a mutual friend of ours in Boston, and asked, okay, what do the Red Sox give up for one of the Mariners' starting pitchers? And I got some pretty interesting answers back. The first was a challenge trade essentially built around Duran for Kirby. Totally possible and reasonable if the homophobic thing makes it a non-starter, but would that be a good concept based on talent? It feels like the Red Sox would not do that.
Oh, see, it's funny to me because if I'm the Mariners, I'm not sure I'd do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Kirby's like a 1.5, 2-win player this year, and Duran's like an 8.5 win player. Like, you wouldn't make that deal?
Oh, man. This is where it gets really interesting in what you get back or what your targets are or what you're going for if you're the Mariners. And when I trade a pitcher who is as good as George Kirby is and as good as George Kirby has been and as good as George Kirby can be, it's like I want more than 2 years in return. I don't know why. It's the sort of thing that I think maybe I just, in this hypothetical world where I'm making this trade, maybe I just have to get over it. Get over the idea that I'm going to turn this great pitcher into control and talent, that I'm going to have my cake and.
But wait, Duran isn't a free agent until 2029.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that he had only 2 years.
No, I'm
left.
looking here. I mean, unless Baseball Reference is wrong, 2029. They have the exact same time.
Huh. All right. Well, I was wrong on that then. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense in that case.
I should have texted you if I was a good teammate. I guess I'm just not being a good teammate today. Salk's already called me out.
Look at this. He's got he doesn't even have 2 years.
I know.
He's still he's gonna be like a Super 2. He'll have 4 arbitration years.
Okay.
So,
but you have him until 2029. Like, yeah, I would take that. And for whatever it's worth, I mentioned it to my dad, and he was disgusted at the thought of the Red Sox trading Duran for Kirby. But that's because he doesn't know anybody who doesn't play for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't think he should be disgusted by that. When you look at what the Red Sox have, Mike, Roman Anthony is. I think Baseball America has him as the number 1 prospect in baseball right now. He is an outfielder. Ceddanne Rafaela is an outfielder. Wilyer Abreu is an outfielder. Like, they have a lot of guys who play outfield. And I have a hard time believing that they're going to trade Jarren Duran because of that production that you talked about. But, man, let me tell you, if there's anyone who does make sense for them to make a trade and get that type of arm that they desperately need, probably is Duran who's going to have to go. I like that. I like that trade for both sides. And I love challenge trades, too. And, like, these are 2 guys who are all-stars, right? We've seen Kirby there. We saw Duran win All-Star Game MVP this year, and you stick him in an outfield spot. I guess the only weird part about it is, do the Mariners have an outfield at this point?
Kind of seems like it.
It seems like we're at that point where outfield no longer really is as much of a need for the Mariners. And I suppose if you're getting someone who's an 8-win player, then it doesn't matter where he plays, he's going to play, and everybody else can go kick rocks. But man, the way Victor Robles is playing, and I don't think you're punting on a Rosarena at this point yet. And of course, Julio is going to be out there. And what I like about Duran too, this I was talking to someone yesterday, and remember when we were having a conversation about Luis Robert. And why maybe he wouldn't fit because he's a center fielder, and the Mariners already have one of those. More and more in conversations with people, they talk about center field needing to be, especially like for larger framed players, center field should be a share job. Like if you have a guy who can play, 60, 70 games in center field, almost like you would with a catcher. Just to give Julio's body a chance to recover because he is so big and because he every step that he's taken, like, it's a lot of weight to carry around in center field, especially at the stadium in Seattle, is a difficult position to man.
Jeffrey, we have talked about this rotation an awful lot, and they're going to have to be absolutely stellar in this series with the Yankees and in Houston and everything else. I was just looking up some numbers. The Mariners have 3 of the top 13 in innings pitched. Logan's right up there Kirby's right up there. Luis is going to probably take a tick down because of the hamstring going on the IL. Bryce may move up into the top 25 of that. How unique is it, you think, in the annals of baseball history to have 3 of your starters in the top 13 in all of baseball?
I think it speaks to 2 things. One, that this has been a priority for the Mariners for a long time to have this type of rotation. And they're going to ride it because, part 2, that their bullpen's not like it was in past years. You know, this isn't a bullpen upon which you can really rely. There's some guys there who you're like, yeah, I trust him, but certainly not like it was in past years. And beyond that, there's the luck elements involved. We've said this again and again on the show. The Mariners, over the last 3 years, have gotten very, very lucky when it comes to starting pitching health. And
Houston series, they're going to flip-flop Gilbert and Hancock in order to make sure Gilbert faces not only the Yankees but also the Astros. So that gives the Miller, Gilbert, Kirby for the Astros. Would you want to do anything else to try to make sure you get Brian Wu against the Astros, or is this sort of the best 3, or just good enough and you let it go?
Good enough and you just let it go. I mean, I think the priority here is getting Gilbert in both series, is it not? Like you in these
or maybe
games,
not having Hancock in either series.
That too. Put your best players against the teams that you need to beat. Simple as that. And if it takes finagling things around a little, that's what Emerson Hancock is here for. He hasn't yet earned the place in the rotation where you're not getting skipped in favor of Logan Gilbert.
You know, because I'm an optimist, because I'm so full of hope. I think it's Salk and Lyle and Maura would tell you on our text stream, because I'm a dreamer. If Julio just continues to be on a tear, and let's say in the final 12 games he hits 4 or 5 bombs, and he had a couple blasts. I mean, just over the Rangers weekend. I mean, he was just awesome. Let's just say Julio does Julio things nearing his ceiling, and these Mariners do go 10-2, and they do make it into the playoffs. Is there a possibility that article that has been in the freezer since March can thaw and finally emerge?
I'll tell you exactly how that can happen. The Mariners need to keep winning. If the Mariners make it to the ALCS, Brock, then that story will run. Okay. But I need to get some reasonable sit-down time with Julio to talk, because the premise of the story will have evolved a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like this season, and the way there's a very specific theme of this story, and I'm curious how the theme now applies to him after the season that he's had.
Interesting.
It's more, honestly, that when you're planning stories for the playoffs, and I'm sorry to take you way inside journalism here. When you're planning stories for the playoffs, there are 2 things you have to keep in mind. One, when is something likely to get the most eyeballs on it? Like, when can you give it the best run? And 2, how does that coincide with the weekends and the game schedule? Like, for example, I have a Bryce Harper story that is going to be running at the beginning of the postseason, and we're trying to figure out when to put it out there, because the Phillies are playing their first game. It looks like it's going to be on a Saturday, and their second game on a Sunday of a 5-game series. And if we hold it to Monday, there's a chance that the Phillies are going to be down 2-0. Now, probably not, but it's a possibility. So these are all of the elements that we're keeping in mind.
Hard job you got. I got to ask you about one other guy before we go. And I was just recently made aware that you had sung about him before. I'm not sure I remembered this.
There's a guy who hits his name Randy Arozarena. Every time he takes a swing, it is a thing. It's Cosa Buena. Running around the bases, he's as fast as a hyena. Arozarena. Hi!
I don't think I had been made aware of that particular gem that you had created.
Been made aware of or had the pleasure of hearing?
I mean, really both, I guess I would say. I put them both together. That's a gem, and I'm very impressed by your vocal stylings. Can you...
thank you. It's the voice of an angel.
Yes, that's how I would describe it. Can you help me understand, Randy? He's not fun. He's not, like, happy. He's sort of angry, but he's also like beloved. He's sort of lovable, and then he gets mad at stuff, but then he like pimped that home run the other day and then didn't want anybody to fight afterwards. Like, who the heck is this guy? I'm fascinated by him.
Randy Rosarena.
There's a bit of, like I say, enigmatic is a good word for Randy Rosarena, because you don't know exactly what you're getting. And the reality is, guys, he did not want to be traded from Tampa Bay. Like, he liked it there. He liked it a lot there. He was comfortable there. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get adjusted and to figure out his place in the organization. But as you have seen, he's an immensely talented guy, and the question is, can he find that talent and manifest it? Can he turn it into the guy who has been as dominant a playoff performer as anyone I've seen? He's a big game player, and I think the swoon that the Mariners were going through, it got in his head. And when you combine the whole, like, oh my God, this is, unlike anything I've had to endure in my 5-year big league career, and he's not playing well too, it's going to get in his head and he's going to brood. He is a brooder, but at the end of the day, I think that the Mariners are a better team with him than without him, and it will be very interesting to see next year which Randy Rosarena.
I like that word. That's a good word.
Brooder.
Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah, it is a good
write that one down.
So, I mean, your singing voice was good. I was surprised you went here, though.
Every time he takes a swing, it is a thing that's cosa buena. Running around the bases, he's as fast as a hyena.
You can be surprised, but I honestly think the better word for that is impressed, because that's really hard to do, man. Like, it's one thing to talk in Elmo. It's something entirely different to sing a song that you made up in the Elmo voice.
Is that how you got your wife to marry you? Was that the final straw? She's like, I say yes. That's pretty good. Yeah.
This was a decided in spite of. The first time I busted out the Elmo voice publicly, I remember my wife was in our room, and I walked in afterward, and I was like, I think I might have just ruined my career. and it turns out that I give the internet and the world way too much credit, because, in fact, it did not ruin my career. It only helped.
Yes,
so
crazy.
Somehow,
we're all shocked.
Being able to speak, I haven't done it on air in a long time.
Yeah, we got to go. We don't have time for that today. Jeff, there's only 12 games left. The Mariners are only a few games out. We got to go, but we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Thank you, sir.
I'm not looking forward to it. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Jeff. There's Jeff Passan every Tuesday at 8:30, and yes, you can usually hear him on Wednesday mornings at 6:30 as well. We'll be right back. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Wow.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are when battling adversity. So, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust Techline.
If your home's heating system is 10 years or older, it needs a tune-up. Your furnace and heat pump work extremely hard, and after 10 years, wear and tear can cause a failure. The last thing you want this winter. Deere Services is now offering a heating system tune-up with a no-breakdown guarantee and no service fees for just $49. A thorough inspection and recalibration for just $49. Visit DEARservices.net. Make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours. Deere Services, Seattle Seahawks, small business partners.
Fall is near and it's time to break the huddle by taking advantage of Toyota of Kirkland's lifetime powertrain warranty. With a roster of over 70 Tundras and Tacomas, come scout the phenomenal team at Toyota of Kirkland. They'll pass you the keys so you can test drive your vehicle and take it to the house that same day. Big-time players make big-time plays at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit them today at their incredible showroom or online at toyotaofkirkland.com. With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
This Thursday's spotlight at Waterfront Park Performance is Unkitawa. Embrace the spirit of unity and enjoy an evening of indigenous music, dances, drum songs, and community at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. This free event is open to all ages, September 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you, so come enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business. Sure can. And the quality is guaranteed? Absolutely. Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right? For sure. How about this one? We'll beat it. Can you print menus, signs, and flyers? Sure can. How about blueprints? No problem. What about red prints? Not a real thing. What if they were? We'd print them. And they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home. But the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful night after night.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Be here for the final stretch of the regular season at T-Mobile Park. The homestand continues with a 3-game showdown against the New York Yankees. Tonight and tomorrow at 6:40 and Thursday afternoon at 1:10. Don't miss your chance to see Aaron Judge and the Bronx Bombers take on Cal Raleigh and the Mariners. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, final hour of the Brock and Salk Show today. Ray Roberts will join us in 30 to talk about this offensive line. At 9:45, we'll have Answer the Question Jerk today. I got a bunch of questions that came in via Twitter.
Nice.
But certainly we will take text questions as well. 866-979-3776. You can text in really any question on any subject, and we'll answer some of those at 9:45. With kids currently in school, and I've got two. I've got a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. We hear a lot about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Do you know those terms, Brock? Has that come up in your world at all? We hear about it a lot. That's like a really big thing in the education community these days, is trying to work on kids to go from having a fixed mindset to having a growth mindset. And essentially, having a growth mindset is all about being open-minded to learning. All about thinking about what you can do, about what is possible, versus saying, I can't learn this, I can't do this, this is too hard, this is too much, I'm not good at math, or whatever the case may be.
That sounds like a car ride home yesterday I had with Titus.
I believe it.
When, football practice ended at 6:40, and I'm waiting for him till 7:30 because he's got to sit in the ice bath, he's got to watch film. Okay. But then you got to come home and do your homework. But I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't care that you don't like it. And why do I have to learn this?
Okay.
What Matt, because this is how you train your brain.
Right.
This is how learning is not just about your, the lipids and the protein and your biology. It's actually training your mind.
Well, so you're hitting on it. So the idea is that a fixed mindset takes the belief that you are who you are. You're fixed. Your traits can't necessarily change. I'm not good at this, and therefore that's how it's always going to be. Whereas a growth mindset obviously would be much more about, hey, let's find out. Let's see what I'm capable of. Maybe I can improve. Maybe I'm never going to be a world's greatest artist, but with a growth mindset, maybe I can grow and be better at it. If you got a chance to see my drawing of the Denver Broncos logo, maybe you will disagree with that. But anyway. Listening to Mike McDonald yesterday, there are so many examples of his growth mindset. And maybe that's why I feel as if he is likely to improve this team in a month, in 2 months, in a year, in 2 years, that as he learns, because he's trying to learn and trying to get better, and as everyone else sort of starts to understand what it is he's trying to get to, that growth mindset should be incredibly helpful for him.
Yeah, I was trying to think who he reminds me of as we get to discover sitting down with him, right? As he fidgets with his headset, as he's trying to figure out how am I going to do this every Monday for 25 minutes with these two jackals. I don't have that time in my day to do this. How transparent do I want to be? How much do I want? He's just learning
a sleep schedule.
He's learning all of this, right? And I was trying to think of, gosh, who does he remind me of that I've come across? And again, I'll come to that name, Sean McVay. That's all. When I did the NFL that year in 2020, and I had 3 production meetings, it's the same deal. When I listened to the Playmakers podcast, I think that's what it's called, right? With Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, and those guys, LaFleur, who all came up together. The language in it, very vulgar, but the growth mindset, that's what the whole thing was about.
About learning.
It was how can we challenge? How can we grow? Mike McDaniel's how do I differentiate? How do I grow? Let me go be an assistant line coach. Right? Shanahan and McVay and LaFleur throwing up ideas and how are we going to grow and take this and make it even better? And that's what they have done.
Yeah. So I got all these examples. I mean, I could go back and play you 5-6 different cuts from the McDonald interview yesterday. I guess what I would suggest is just going to listen to the whole thing. Go to seattlesports.com or download the Seattle Sports app and just go listen to the entirety of the interview because you'll hear it. Certainly when he was talking about Ryan Grubb and he said, well, partly because I don't understand offense as well. Talk about vulnerability and needing to have a growth mindset. That was tremendous. I thought all of the answers on 4th and 1 and how they went through that process and the analytical information, that would be another really good example. Here he is just talking about his schedule and being a first-time head coach.
I mean, that's a great point. It's like, yeah, we haven't gone through these things as a whole staff, me personally as well. So, yeah, you're trying to do kind of the wisdom of the crowd, what you feel like is kind of best practices as you're going through navigating things for the first time. But then these things are going to evolve, right? Like how we get feel for how we're going to manage the game, especially late in the game, these fourth down decisions, like lots of stuff that you're just going through it. And like you kind of start to find, even just like, hey, first team meeting with the guys. Hey, like, I'm giving it my best shot, but that's definitely wasn't my best fastball, since then. So it's like, and you just try to keep getting better at the things, and it'll become kind of mold in our identity as we go. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment for sure.
So refreshing.
It's amazing.
So refreshing. Yeah, I don't got it all figured out. But yet I have this really strong conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because sometimes, Saul, and you can be, and we've been around this too, kind of wishy-washy, trying to be everything. And when he said crowd there, it's not like the crowd on the outside. It's just all of the really smart growth mindset people I surround myself with. So how are we going to do this and what is going to be the best practice? Right? You have to have a tremendous conviction or a locker room and players will eat you alive. So
ability to walk that fine line
Correct.
between, and I've tried, it's hard, man. I think that's very challenging.
You've tried to manage people.
It's very hard. And I certainly was not as good at this as he is, or that I wanted to be or should have been. But there is that, hey, you want to try to instill confidence by letting people know that you've got a plan and that you know what you're doing, but also you don't want that to be insecurity where you're not willing to listen and not willing to kind of be open-minded to new ideas. Yeah. So, I think he's doing a beautiful job, to quote Pete Carroll, of trying to walk that fine line right now and learn and get better and get stronger at this and be open-minded, all the while projecting a level of confidence and intelligence that I think he's done a really good job of. It's a pretty good spot, man.
Like in Harbaugh and in Dirty and in Grubb, he's surrounded himself with other like-minded growth mindset people
who want to get better, want to be open-minded, and he spent a lot of time talking about Ryan Grubb in that fashion as well. So pretty cool start to this NFL season here in Seattle. We'll talk to Ray Roberts about a place that could use a little growth. That would be the offensive line. That's coming up in 20 after everything you need to know next.
Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Well, Seahawks come off the road with a very big win, thanks in very large part to our next guest, place kicker Jason Myers with us.
A PAT early in the game or a game winner at the end. I'm running through the same routine, physically, mentally, and just doing my best to make them all enough pressure without too much pressure. So that's really my goal every single kick. Being able to come through for the guys is, after the fact in the locker room, on the plane ride home, it's a lot of fun.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, as you hear my voice this morning, are you in search and need of a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your mortgage needs, whatever they may be? Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. They have been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington State for over 25 years. And if you've heard the term reverse mortgages, maybe even seen commercials about it, and you're 62 or older and wonder, gosh, is this the best thing for me, best practice for me? Well, Tila can help you decide if it's the right choice for you and your family. If you're stuck with monthly payments that are impacting your credit score and just killing your month-to-month cash flow with all the inflation, well, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan, or you've heard me talk about a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, enabling you to maintain your low fixed-rate first mortgage, but gaining access to some of the equity in your home. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, congrats. Tila will walk you through all the ins and outs of a new home loan as well. Hundreds of five-star reviews. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is the trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning at 206-766-8888, 206-766-8888, or TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought, I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Your home is your most valuable asset. If you are sick, you go to a doctor. And when something is wrong with your home, you call an expert. Did you know over time, sidewalks and driveways can sink and crack, causing trip hazards or worse? Matt Vey Foundation Repair is the industry leader in concrete repairs. Their foam injection process corrects concrete problems in a matter of minutes. And their Pentec concrete floor coatings will add durability and style to most concrete surfaces. Call now for a free estimate. Also ask about payment options and financing. Matt Vey Foundation Repair. Go mattvey.com. Rock built, rock solid.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $ instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1Password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1Password.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
My Seahawks jersey is more than just a piece of clothing.
It's a symbol of the unique spirit of my city.
Creating a sense of community and belonging.
A bond uniting us and a love for the game.
This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is the Pro Shop. You can find your new favorite jersey at the Seahawks Pro Shop. Shop online at Seahawks.com or visit us at the Landing in Renton or Lumen Field.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, we spent a lot of time today talking about Mike McDonald, but every time we speak to him, Brock, and that's now, 3 or 4 interviews we've done, the second Mike McDonald show, I do feel like I learn a little something each time and get a little better sense as to what he's all about and how he wants to coach his team. We did ask him what he's learned about his team so far.
A lot. All the things that we said we want to be about, there's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have, I think we're a connected team. I think we have confidence in one another. I just felt like we haven't batted an eye with all the crap that's happened in the first 2 games. These games are it's the NFL. Like, these things are going to happen. I'm just really, just the way we pulled the game out at the end, staying poised, making the plays we needed to make after, defensively didn't really put our best foot forward. Offensively, hey, at moving and adjusting, the run game, we're still going to have to attack that. But, in the pass game, just kept saying, hey, look, this is our best chance to go win it. This is how we're going to have to go do it. Let's go do it. And guys making plays in those critical situations was just, which is awesome. And that's going to have to happen for us to have success. We're just going to have to do that on a weekly basis. So we're in the right direction. And it's just, that's where it is.
It's going to be such a big part of every week, Salk. How's this team going to find a way to win?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't you got to deal with us. This isn't, the coverage that we all know. This isn't just let's get the game to the fourth quarter. Some really strong principles that led to some of the greatest success in the history of any team in our city. That does not diminish in any way what was accomplished for so many years, winning so many games. But this is a different mindset. It is a week-to-week, what do we have to do to win this game? What scheme, what personnel, what style? How do we go about it? And it's going to be really fluid and very, very enjoyable for those of us that love the scheme behind it, that love the football behind it. I'm also really curious. 866-979-3776. 866-979-3776.
No.
I would like you to text in the one word. You have enough questions.
Seriously,
you have enough questions.
I don't. What is wrong with you?
You do.
We've been doing this for 15 years together.
We have enough
Why do you only give out the text machine minutes before we answer the question, sure?
It's a half hour. We got time.
It's not a half hour.
It is a half hour.
It's 5 minutes.
What is the one word?
God, you're annoying.
What's the one word, Saul? Don't brood. What's the one word? Don't be a brooder. What is the one word that you would use to define
Do not
this
do
team?
this. Don't listen to him. Please don't text this in. In less than 5 minutes, I'm going to ask you for answer the question, your questions, and I don't want you to be distracted by Brock's ridiculous question.
Such a brooder.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Such a brooder.
You have quite the knack. You really do.
Yes, guess what you could do? You could have done that at the start of Ray, and then you'd have a few more.
I will do it again at the start of Ray, but then I don't have time to.
Fine.
Well, you know what? Who washes the car better than the owner? Who told you could do another man's job better than them?
Well, I can't wait for the end of this because Lyle's got something to chip in here, too.
But it does. Mariners win last night without even playing. It's pretty good. Houston lost 3-1 in San Diego, so the Mariners move up a half game in the division. They're 4 back now of Houston, with both teams now with 12 games to play. And then Minnesota, as Lyle noted, in complete free fall. They lose again. Up late, lose to Cleveland on a late home run. And so it's 2 games now in the wild card, really 3, because you got to clear Minnesota. Detroit keeps pace with you as they take out Kansas City by a run. But yeah, this is do or die, man. You got 3 against the Yankees, 3 in Texas, 3 in Houston, 3 against the A's. That's it.
Lyle, are you secure in your math of what you sent to us? Have the Houston Astros really been the best team in baseball since the Mariners were 10 games up on them?
Yeah, they have.
Gosh, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like they've been through some peaks and valleys too, because I guess every Major League Baseball team is. But the hole that they did dig out, Salk, I think I'm with Passan in this conversation of which standings to look at, which games to really focus on. I think I'm with them. I think I have, unfortunately, more confidence that Houston's going to be Houston, and they are loaded, and Tucker is back, and they've been there, and they've done it before. And you got to really hope that these Twins do continue to free fall, and these Tigers that have somehow, some way, after selling at the deadline.
I know.
A.J. Hinch has done an unbelievable job to keep those guys right in the race as well.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Oh, man, poor Bryce Young, benched. It's sad. Guy was the number 1 overall pick last year, and he's already been benched. And when you watch him play, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I am surprised he got benched before Daniel Jones. How is Daniel Jones still playing? Both guys should be benched, right? In any event, Andy Dalton is going to get the start for Carolina this week. Things are already not going great for Dave Canales if he's got to make a move like this to avoid losing the locker room.
I think Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield would tell you that Dave Canales, like the greatest strength that he has is connecting and like being a builder and a steam builder. And maybe this is his way to do that, Saul, that he's seeing a guy with the yips that is so broken right now that it's got so much scar tissue from just, 18 starts, that if he keeps throwing him out there, it's only going to be worse and worse and worse, and try to give him some sort of breath, some sort of hope, some of the expectation and pressure off of him. But, man, we were talking during the break how hard it is to project. I don't even know how you project in baseball. I don't know how offensively. I don't know how that's possible. And you made a good point that the NBA, the NHL, probably the easiest sports to do it. And this is showing you yet again, especially at that position, that quarterback position, it is a different animal at the NFL level than anything you do.
For sure.
In high school, college, 7-on-7, and to project it is really, really hard.
All right, there you go. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. There were, look, with Mike McDonald just trying to come up with a word to describe him. I mean, that's a whole show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
and the
a
team
whole show.
And the team through 2 weeks is probably because there's about 10 different adjectives that you could use. So I apologize. Let me be the first to say it. I don't want to drive the plane. I'm much better as a bystander. Seriously. Will you accept my apology?
Of course, I always
I'm sorry.
do. It's funny the times
I know you have a
choose
plan.
to drive the plane
I screw it up.
are always the times where you can't drive the plane.
I understand. I get it.
Really,
It's
I think
on me.
you fly planes too. Do you drive a plane?
No, you drive a bus, you fly a plane. So I apologize. It was not the right time. You had a plan in place. I did not have a great growth mindset. It was very, very selfish.
No, it's all right. People are going to take your side anyway. Don't worry about it. Of course they are. Salk is a brood. I don't think a brood is the way you would say that. But if it's not his way, then he gets upset. I don't know how Brock deals with it. Yeah, Brock, how do you deal with it?
I'm sorry. No, listen, audience, that was more on me. Salk's got a lot to handle, to tease, to do all this stuff. I do not want to do it.
All right, well, let me at least say this.
Because I know
now.
that's the next thing you would do. You'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then I'll just shut up and you lead the show. And I'm not going to do that.
All right. Well, text us for Answer the Question Jerk. We will answer questions in 20 minutes after Ray. The reason I got to ask for him now, Brock, is I got to put them together.
That's true.
I don't have time. We used to have a commercial break before that. The brood and the brood. That's good. That's very funny. All right, 866-979-3776. Any question on any subject, we'll answer them in 20 minutes. Right after Big Ray takes us through this big offensive line, it's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The Seahawks are 2-0.
No, cut it. We got something to do. We don't. We got it done, baby. Y'all didn't want to play this game because you knew we probably could get you. Holla at your boy. Wazoo, what it do? Let's go.
Bumpin texted me yesterday to have the fight song ready
I'm so
at the
upset
start
you
of the
guys did
show.
that for real.
It's funny because Stacey had all this stuff planned for the start of the show, and Bump and I just gave each other a look like,
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, summer is definitely coming to a close. Miserable out today. And if you let yourself go a little bit over the last few months, then it's time to start getting yourself back into shape. And Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks. They have a great plan to maintain it. And I did a really good job for a long time. Then I started to fall off a little bit this summer. So what do? Jump right back on the program. Lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks. Feeling right back where I want to be. It is so helpful. Why? Because you're not hungry. You eat great food with great recipes, and there's a ton of variety to it. And it's all real food that you buy at the grocery store. So it's totally sustainable. There's no medication. There's no injection, nothing like that. If it's time for you to take the weight back off, you got to call Eastside Weight Loss Clinic at 425-588-0080 or simply go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Buy a heat pump, get a furnace free. Now from Deere Services. You heard right. Buy a new heat pump, get a new furnace free from Deere Services. Save now and combine the year-round benefits and comforts of both systems, giving you warm winters and cool summers. Make an appointment at DEARservices.net, and we'll be there within 3 hours, guaranteed. And get this, no service fees. Buy a new heat pump, get a new furnace free now at Deere Services. Seattle Seahawks, small business partners.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a fifth-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy.
Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Maura Dooley here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
At Mazda of Everett, you can always expect to receive exceptional customer service and exceptional deals. Mazda of Everett is a great friend of Seattle sports, and you'll be satisfied with both. Shop from over 600 new Mazdas in stock. And right now, they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? It feels like working with family when you work with Mazda of Everett. You will drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we're starting to get some good questions in for Answer the Question Jerk, which we'll do here in 15 minutes. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 seattlesports.com. Before we talk to Ray Roberts, I should remind everybody that the Seahawks are, of course, coming back home this weekend. We want to send you and 3 of your friends to watch them take on the Dolphins in person. All you got to do is open our app, the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab, and find out how. If you don't already have the app, you can text app to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link. You can download it from there. Enter every day to increase your chances to win. But today's the last day, so make sure you get it done today. All right, well, that'll be our introduction as they return home this weekend to take on the Dolphins, to Ray Roberts. What's going on, Big Ray? How we doing?
Yeah, hanging in there, brother. Trying to figure out what's going on with this Seahawks offensive line. And, trying to hang it in, right the ship.
All right, well, so before we get into the righting the ship part, can we talk about the part of the ship that seems to be right, and that's Charles Cross. What has he done over the last year or so to just make himself what he looks like right now?
You know what? I really do think that, the coaching makes a difference. So, like, the whole offseason, just watching how Huff was preparing him and challenging him in practice to be more violent with his hands, to be more active with his feet, to play in a more powerful position. So he kind of got lower in the stance to start out with, narrowed his stance a little bit. And then I think, at some point, Mike, you just reach the point in your career where you're going to either take the step or you're just going to kind of remain muddled in the water. And he seems to have taken the step, not only just in his pass blocking, but his run blocking has taken a tremendous leap. I was saying before when I scouted his film in college, he just seemed like a dude in the run game that just wanted to make sure he was in the right spot, and he just kind of walled dudes off. And then that's kind of how his NFL career was. And then all of a sudden this year he's putting dudes on their back. So it's a change in his mentality, but I think that's a reflection of how he's been coached.
Coaching helps. Do you think a contract year helps too?
Well, I mean, people will say that, dude, but like I've been in contract years and all that kind of stuff, but like I don't want to get embarrassed when I'm playing against dudes. I want to prove myself right, more than anything. And it just so happens that, that your contract years and stuff come up. Obviously, some dudes do buy into that, but at the end of it, man, you gotta want to get out there and not be embarrassed, and you want to be the guy that you think you could be. And so if it just happens to be the contract year, that's all good. But I see the difference in how his approach. I see the difference in his stance. I see the difference in the violence with his hands, how more active his feet are, and those are coaching things. Those aren't just like contract year deals.
He also, is it fair to say, Ray, and he was a top 10 pick because his physical tools to work with, like his physical gifts, his size, his strength, the footwork, the athleticism, is it just at a different level than some of his other mates on that offensive line?
Yeah, and the other thing too, Brock, is that his intention, like when you I was telling my son Price this the other day, when you practice without a purpose, it's just recess. You know what I'm saying? And so when you go to practice, you have to have a purpose for why you're there. Every single drill, what is it I'm trying to get accomplished in this drill? Is it my hands? Is it my feet? Is it my pad level? Is it my angle? All those different kinds of things. And he seems to be playing with great intentionality. Like he wants to be good and he wants to dominate people. And so just 80% of this game is mental. It's like if you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And in this instance, it seems like he thinks that he can. And then I do think like the same is for me when Howard Mudd came here my second year. He really challenged me to take care of the little things. Like I was a really good athlete, quick feet, long arms, all this other kind of stuff, but my technique was terrible. And so every single day I would go to the Kirkland and just the two of us would be on the field running through plays. I was doing a Russell Wilson before Russell Wilson. I was breaking the huddle, running up to the line of scrimmage. He was telling me where the dude was lined up. I had to do the right footwork and all this other kind of stuff. And then that became my trademark, was the way my attention to the technique. And I think that's when my career took off. And I think there's no difference for Charles in that.
Unfortunately, you weren't doing it for the cameras, which I guess would be a pretty big difference between you and Russ. Also,
unless they were filming me up in Kirkland.
Did you make up that phrase yourself? Practice without purpose is just recess. I love this.
I just made it up the other day, homie.
Right.
I'm like that, dude. I'm a wordsmith,
You're something, man. I'll tell you that. I'm bringing that home to Cecily tonight. I love that. All right, so that's Charles Cross. What about the rest of the offensive line?
Well, I think the right tackle spot, obviously you thought that was going to be Abe Lucas, and it's not. And so you get what you get. With George Fant didn't practice much of the preseason, and he's just kind of been a journeyman, for the most part. So you're kind of only going to get what you get kind of what you pay for in those. And then Stone Forsythe, I think, is just doing what he can to kind of hang on and not be the weakest link in a chain that has other weak links. And so that spot, it's kind of up in air. That if Lucas isn't coming back anytime soon, they may have to figure out something else to do there. With the other spots, though, this is the way I look at it, is the intentionality that Charles plays with, those two guards haven't played with that. And they don't seem as athletic laterally because they get beat across their face a lot when they have to change directions. They can't seem to do that, whether it's in the passing game or the running game. And then I think with the center, like he just hasn't. He's been out for a long time. He hasn't played a whole lot in the last year or so, and so he's kind of top heavy, and so he kind of leans on people a lot with his face mask and with his hands, and so then makes it hard to switch off games or work double teams or get off a block to go to the second level. And then on the rest of it, Mike, it's like it seems as if I was thinking about this last night. It's not 5 as 1. It is like each individual dude is just trying to survive the play. And so you're not really locked in on the chemistry that it takes to be a good offensive line. And, you know, not trying to, like, beat anybody up, but I know Deion Sanders was asked about the chemistry of his offensive line, and he went into this rant about relationships. And it has nothing to do with whether they like each other or not. It has everything to do with how do you mitigate each other's weaknesses and how do you help, elevate other people's strengths. So when I played my left guard, he knew, like, on certain plays, I needed an extra little hand, an extra little help. I didn't have to say anything. I can just look at him. He knows, like, oh, I need to be right there for Ray. Same thing for him. And so those types of things come with playing a lot together. And so then you end up being just like one string across the offensive line. You're not like 4 or 5 individual blocks. It's one string all tied together. Everyone kind of knows what's happening. You can if everyone is making a mistake, it looks like you're doing the right play. And that is not happening right now. There's like each person is just going like, man, it reminds me of my rookie year. When I got here late, I was held out for 2 weeks. The first game came. I barely knew the plays. I was just like, I'm taking the dude with the highest number and I'm blocking him. And like, I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the play, but number 99 is going to be blocked by me, or number 87, or whatever it was. And so I was just focused on making sure that I survived the play, and then I got a yes in the film room. But then once you start to understand how we all work together, then that's when offensive lines take off. And right now, they're not doing that.
We said that Mike McDonald was transparent and vulnerable earlier. Yeah. Is anyone more so than Ray? I love the stories. They're so good.
How much of this, Big Ray, is also, and it's been too long. We haven't had Ray Roberts on the morning show in a long time.
I always ask, and you always say you don't want him. I don't understand.
He's being transparently dishonest right there, Big Ray. That's what that was right there. How much of this also is just the period of discovery they're in, not only with one another, but what do they do well as a group? You know, you listen to Mike McDonald, and he talked about the run game and still trying to figure out, I mean, are we a gap team? Are we going to be an outside zone team? Are we going to be an inside zone team? Are we a movement team? Still also not only trying to figure out the 5, but then trying to figure out, okay, what does this group actually do best so we can build a plan, especially in the run game, around those strengths?
Yeah, I think for sure that's part of it, Brock. And the one thing that has surprised me is a lot of the pre-snap movement and the post-snap movement that you saw in Grubb's offense at the UW, just haven't seen a whole lot of that, right now. Maybe they're saving it, or maybe they're not confident that the guys can execute it. But those types of things help the offensive line. So when the linebacker has to hesitate for a split second, and so that gives you a better chance to work this double team and get to the right angle to get to him. Or the defensive tackle isn't sure if it's a run or a pass, and he kind of stands tall just a little bit, enough for you to get under his pass and drive block him in the run game. Or he's a little bit late getting off the ball, rushing the quarterback. All those types of things can help this offensive line. And I've always said that, like, play calling and play design has as much to do with offensive line development as the actual players themselves. And right now, I don't know I think they are in that fill out stage. And if you ask me, I don't know that they have the guys that are like people movers, at least not right now. And so I think that they're better at the pin and the pull, getting some eye candy in the backfield to kind of help them out with some of that stuff. But it's just lining up and saying, we're going to run split zone between the tackles, downhill. I don't know that they're that group right now. And so if I was them, I would lean more towards the pin and pull, the movement stuff, than just to line up and I'm just going to beat you one-on-one and drive you down the field. I just don't see that happen. Other than with Charles Cross, I don't see anybody else doing that right now.
Ray, I don't like when people pigeonhole you and just make you an offensive line guy. I mean, obviously you know the O-line, but I mean, I like hearing your views on other things. And maybe if we just jumped across the line of scrimmage, we've talked a lot about the Seahawks secondary so far. We've spent a lot of time talking about their linebackers so far. What have you seen from their defensive line in the first couple games of the season?
Well, the first game was tremendous. I mean, I think that when we talked to McDonald in one of the production meetings, he was talking about Mafe in particular. This is in I think the last preseason game. And so one of the examples he used was like they really need him to set the edge and keep his outside shoulder free. Last year, he would kind of set the edge and then peek inside to try to make the tackle, and then he'd give up the edge of the offense. And so they were telling him if everyone is doing what they're supposed to do, the ball is going to bounce to you anyway, and then you can make the tackle. And so you saw them married to that in the first game. Every single person, it felt like the defense was on that string that the offensive line should be on. So someone could take their shot to make a tackle, and if they missed it, they knew the next guy was right there to make it. Or someone would eat up a double team, and the linebacker would fill the gap and make the tackle. I think this past week's game, you saw some dudes kind of
freelancing,
not doing that. Like they decided, like, I want to make a play, and so they weren't like married to what the technique is and what the scheme of the defense was. So we saw some gaps in the run game. But Leonard Williams is a freaking dog. This dude is playing like he and Charles Cross must have hung out together in the offseason because they're playing with the same type of tenacity, the same type of dominance. And then you see the young guy, Byron Murphy, in the first game, he was like, what do you call it, the advanced metrics champ. He did a lot of cool things when you look at like the pass rush win rate and rushing against the pure pass sets, whatever that means. But he didn't have any real stats on the stat sheet. Well, then this past week, you start to see that kind of come to life a little bit. He got his first sack. Then he had 4 or 5 tackles, and you can start to see the impact he can have. And so I think with the three of them, to me, especially with Uchenna out, but with Murphy, with Williams, and with Mafe, man, it's hard to get 3 really good dominating defensive linemen, and they have 3 at least in those 3.
Last thing, Ray, anything these first 2 weeks of the regular season change your opinion or your thought of what this team could be in 2024?
You know what? Like, I really didn't think the way that Coach McDonald talked about defense and how he likes to play defense and what you saw in Baltimore, I didn't know if we would have the pieces to do that. And so I thought it was going to be like this real, like a learning curve, and then trying to figure out exactly what they're doing on offensive line, on defense. Like, what is the right combination? What is the right body type? What is the right skill set to be in these different positions? But man, they seem to have nailed it. And to me, that was really surprising. I thought it was going to take a while for them to really get a handle on the types of players that they needed. And so I was telling people like, hey, like, with this deal, it may take a couple years for them to get their guys here for you to actually see what this defense can be. But, man, we've been able to see it right from the jump. And so that has been surprising to me.
Hey, Salk, do you know that practice without purpose is just recess?
I think it is such a phenomenal quote. I can't wait. I have it written down. I'm going to be taking it home. I'm going to be reading it to Cecily later.
I'm going to probably use it on a game, and if I do, I'm going to give Big Ray credit.
As you should.
Yeah. I'm not just going to steal his stuff.
Brock, because I got to make sure that your tie is straight and all that stuff.
Yep, for sure. Big Ray, is there another quarterback that talks more O-line in his game? I love O-linemen. I was just telling them during the break, I hope Titus and one of his freshman teammates, I hope they become great friends. I dropped Titus off early this morning at conditioning, and here comes his teammate Moon, last name Moon Davis. Unbelievable player. He's going to be a big-time 5-star kid, and he's dropped off right in front. I'm like, man, I love O-linemen. I really hope Titus is best buddy in high school.
My best friend on the universe is our quarterback from UVA, Sean Moore. Like, we talk every single day. And, like I was talking to the Virginia's offensive line the other day, and I was like, dude, like, I took it personally if anybody came close enough to touch Sean's jersey. Yeah. Like, it was a personal thing with me. Like, I was his personal protector.
And you felt the same way about Scott Mitchell, too, right?
Okay, we got to answer the question, Dirk. Okay, here we go, Big Ray. Thank you, Ray.
The fresh crab.
Bye, Ray. We love you, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Here's Ray Roberts.
That ain't right.
One of the what? That wasn't right.
No, that ain't right.
Why?
That's stirring it up. Let's go.
He loves Scott Mitchell. Right. Scott was a really, really good quarterback who put that team on his back and had the kind of personality they all wanted to follow.
Here we go.
Okay, let's answer some questions.
This is Brock and Salk's Answer the Question, Jerk.
Keep asking questions. Come on, I'll answer them. Come on, I'm here. I'm going to answer your questions, dang it.
Answer my question! The question, jerk! Well, don't just stand there. Answer the question, jerk!
All right, I got a bunch of questions here, Brock. No thanks to you.
Mm-hmm. I apologize. Don't do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
People think we're very mad at each other.
Don't get mad.
Not about that. All right, let's see what we got. Jerks, why don't the Seahawks take more advantage of DK's size and speed in the running game?
Ooh.
What would that look like?
Is a little jet sweep guy.
Is that how you want to use DK?
No.
You don't see a lot of guys like him used in that way.
He is not. I don't think change of direction is his greatest asset. Power. Getting those strides going. His George Washington across the Delaware River strides.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than that short area quickness that typically those jet sweep guys are. So,
right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't see that as being a thing.
Are we doing mean tweets tomorrow, by the way?
I would hope.
Okay.
Yeah. It's usually our plan. We do that on Wednesdays. Yeah. Get your days.
Oh, Lyle's going to go out on top. Last week was the last one.
He's done. All right, Jerks, what is your number one fast food restaurant? Well, if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know my answer to this. That's Culver's. It's not close.
Oh, that's true.
I love me some Culver's.
Is there Culver's up there?
No.
Okay. So what is your number one fast food in
I never get fast food here.
Washington?
I never get fast food in Washington.
Do you
fast
know what
casual, yes, but not fast food.
Okay, so you know when I have dropped an occasional S-bomb or something, I've got to do church twice?
Yep.
So last week, where was I last week? Oh, Eugene. So flew into Eugene, had to drive out to Corvallis late at night. I'm starving.
Yeah.
There was no food, just snacks on the plane. I'm starving. Driving through Monroe, Oregon. It's 10 o'clock. The only thing opens at McDonald's.
Yeah. What'd you get? A little Big Mac?
I had Big Mac at 10 o'clock
Yeah,
at night.
that's pretty
do you know
good.
Do you know how good that was?
So good. I mean, a Big Mac is always good.
Do you know how much guilt I had Friday morning
Get
waking
two
up?
all-beef
though?
patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
I'd say Chick-fil-A for me. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Yeah.
I don't do it often either, but every now and then, maybe if I possibly had some beverages the night before, Taco Bell.
Give me Raisin Cane's. It's coming to Seattle soon. It's not close. I can't wait.
Wow. I've never had that.
So good.
Really? That's a
It's
chicken
okay.
place, right? Fried chicken place?
It's okay.
No, it's good.
I've
No,
had,
it's,
what's the...
well, it's okay.
Maybe I have had that. It's pretty good.
I don't think I've had
Better
it.
than Popeyes? Popeyes really good.
No, I think so.
Popeyes really good.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry, Lyle. I was thinking of it. Cane's is really good. My kids like Cane's more. And
What's
the
the
dipping
other one?
sauce. There's
another
few other
one.
ones down south that are like Cane's.
Churches.
Yeah,
Zaxby's?
that's it. Yeah.
Gatsby's.
Zaxby's is what I was saying.
Zaxby's. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Diarrhea.
I'm hungry
Okay,
now.
next.
Jerks, would you trade your 2025 first-round pick for Bryce Young? No. Would you?
No.
Actually, no. I don't say
No,
that.
but I don't think you're going to have to give up.
No. Jerks, when does grilling season end? When summer ends? When the weather gets cold? Never.
Never.
Yeah, I go year-round now because I put my grill under a little cover.
Yep.
So I can walk right outside and just start grilling.
Yep. Never.
Why would it end? Do you like to grill in the rain, though? I mean, that's pretty miserable.
It's tough.
Go out there
Lyle,
with an umbrella.
are you a griller?
No, I can't cook almost anything.
Lyle said he can't make anything other than eggs, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
But he's got 4 years. You got till you're 30. When you're 30, you got to figure that out. Is that cool?
Sure.
Yeah. You got like 4 years to live in
Yeah,
your
I don't know
20s.
if
You
I'll
need
figure
to
it out
know
by then.
that.
We'll see.
You should. You should figure it out by the time you're 30. Trust me.
Yeah.
Halibut or salmon?
Halibut.
Salmon's so much more diverse.
Salmon.
Yeah. I always want halibut to be a little better than it is. I
Yeah,
like it, but I always think it's going to be better than it is.
Halibut?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be fresh.
Even when it's fresh, like I love it. Don't get me wrong. I really like it. But I'm always expecting a little bit more from it.
Yeah.
Salmon consistently over-delivers.
Yeah. And it's so good for you.
Maybe salmon because you do get it with sushi too. Like I do love.
I always say though, either Arctic char I think beats salmon. It's really similar, but so good.
Next.
I love Arctic char.
That's so stupid.
What?
Next.
No.
Next, push. I don't even know what to do with
At some point, I think I gave the argument that I like steelhead more than salmon, and people were very upset with that one.
Gosh.
Let's see. Answer the question, jerks. Why the lack of Rabel calls on the new McDonald show? Come on, everyone needs some Rabel on Mondays. Easy answer on that one. It's not the Pete Carroll show. We did that for Pete.
I know, but I was thinking about that.
No, you can't just.
You don't want to do it?
Nope.
I'm not saying because we have to. I do think McDonald would enjoy that.
I mean, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I don't like the idea of like bringing our bit with Pete to the new guy.
No, that's totally
over
true.
time. I mean, we developed that with Pete over 13 years. It's
true.
We'll develop something with McDonald over time, but don't
Yeah.
rush these things,
No,
guys.
that's true.
Let it come naturally. Otherwise, you end up with the Maple Grove.
Your Arctic char, really stupid. That really is stupid.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Jerks, why are you so mean to Lyle? Also, have you guys seen Ken Walker? Lyle, have we been mean to you this week?
Less than last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
I mean, Brock was subtweeting in his own right yesterday. He was talking to me yesterday about subtweeting.
Yeah.
About how I was subtweeting him. And then I see after the show ends yesterday, a tweet from Brock on Sunday. It wasn't about me, but I just felt like he was being a little bit of a hypocrite. After the Seahawks game on Sunday, I see a tweet from Brock that says, "Put some respect on Geno Smith's name." Anybody you were talking to there, Brock? You know, I couldn't put my finger on it.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. It felt like maybe there was a person or two living in your head.
Oh. Are you trying to start a divide between them now? I don't know if that's the best strategy.
Good luck with that, Lyle. Good luck with that one.
I think he was subtweeting Salk.
I never disrespected Geno's name.
That's pretty good, Lyle.
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying, what does Brock think from his tweet?
That's pretty good. Did I have Salk in mind when I tweeted?
I'm not disrespecting Geno. What have I said negative about Geno?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, no, nothing, Salk. No, nothing. Nothing at all.
Publicly.
No, you're thrilled he's blocked you. You're totally fine with that.
I think, what's that cut we keep playing about how Geno's got the biggest chip in his shoulder of any quarterback they've ever seen? Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Man, this question went great. It started with, "Why are you so mean to Lyle?" And I turned it right back around.
Yeah,
Yes,
nice
good.
job on that.
Good job.
I think that's it for today.
That's
There's others, but we're running out of time here. I don't want to take time away from Bump and Stacy. Like, they get their time. We've already had 4 hours.
Whoa, Lyle.
Dude.
Now you're going to be mean to me. I know.
Well, just get it figured out in there.
Oh, you're so good. You've been so good on the ones and the twos. And then you got to mix it like that. That was a disaster.
I know.
He gives up.
Yeah, well, I'll save these questions so we can use some of them next week. There's some good stuff in here.
Daniel Jeremiah tomorrow?
Yep.
Ticket. We're giving away, I think, 2 man games tomorrow.
2?
I think so.
All on one day? Don't you think that's too much?
Just gird your loins, listeners, and be smart tomorrow at 7:30, because I'm coming up with some questions, and you got to be smart. Yeah.
This time
We're
they
doing
need
that.
to brush up on their football knowledge, right?
I'm sure that'll go great.
Sports terminology.
I'm sure that'll go just fine.
I hope we get Larry again.
Terminology.
Bob and Stacy coming up next. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Until then, the hay
is in the barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
This game was won in large part because of Geno Smith. Now, that's not to take away from other things.
I think the defense had their moments where they needed some big stops, and they stepped up. Myers had 3 field goals at the game winner at the end of the day. No one man ever wins a football game, but Geno had the biggest influence.
A career high in completions at 33 and ties a career high in attempts.
It seemed like he was comfortable and on time. Like he knew what he was looking at. He knew what needed to be done, and he didn't really force anything.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
I have a handful of stories that really affected me personally in my career and how I handled employees. Lee Johnson, coming out of his office as a customer, asked me where the service department is. And I was like, yeah, go to the end of the hall, go up the stairs, go across the breezeway, open a door, go to the left. You want Chevy, go to the right. You want Mazda. Because I didn't even have enough time to say, hey, what kind of